been awesome, guys. It's been an awesome ride. Let's get on into it. In the top left side, we've got the blue Protoss player. This is Trap. Of course, playing for the Afrika Freaks.
And in the bottom right, you know him, you love him, and he's still represented by ENCE Esports. It is the Finn, SERRAL.
Of course, we've
the
come along.
champion of... Sorry, there's that delay. We did it. We found that delay. I was to say that the SERRAL is the reigning champion of Fall. That's what I was talking about. Who's the reigning champion? Chat decided to remind me. But the Reign is the world champion, Maynard. And it's like, oh, did I didn't know that. I only cast the final. So thanks for letting me know. I meant Fall. The last season. And actually winter, not too far away. The next big offline event.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's actually really cool because, I mean, this event's come such a long way as we start the finals day with this match. It went from a measly $2,000 prize pool that I used my street smarts to con 5 world champions and a bunch of other of the highest prestige pros in the world to actually sign up for. But you know what? The community saved my bacon on this one, guys. Rather than being able to, deliver empty promises, you guys have actually raised the prize pool to $6,900. I'm still a little sad we didn't get it to 420,000, which is the next benchmark, but it's still, nonetheless, a great achievement. So thank you everyone out there who helped support us this week.
We go 69,420. That's I mean, we've seen the StarCraft community donate to get the Home Story Cup 20 prize pool up to 50 grand. That's pretty impressive.
Heck yeah.
I think we can get for 69,420 here for the Pigstar Festival. We've only got 3 best of 7s to make it, but if we start now, we might get there by the end. So guys, get on that, chop chop.
Indeed, dude. It's been a wild ride so far, and I feel like I've had so many moments so far in this event where it's been like, oh, it's gonna end this series, this game. It's gonna be another 2-0, 3-0. And the number of comebacks, reversals, almost comebacks, the number of games where players have kind of grit their teeth and fought back has already been such a high number. And I'm so fascinated to see where we go in this final day. It is, of course, the SERRAL Trap match, the other semi-final, Reynor versus MaxPax after this. And what a ride MaxPax has had to get here, I think. A bit of an underdog in the tournament overall. I mean, it's hard to say that about MaxPax, but he has just cleaved his way through absolutely stellar opposition.
It's really like, I was a lot more active as a commentator. It was really the beginning of seeing that young blood come up for the Protoss. We had Clem for the Terrans, Reynor and SERRAL still quite young. Reynor especially so, being a teenager still, a world champion in as a Zerg player. And it's like, who's the young blood for Protoss? And it turns out the answer is MaxPax, as that kid got real good, real fast, and is now a contender for like one of the best. He's top 4 in this tournament, which is super stacked. As we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, he won an EPT EU lately, very recently, which is extremely stacked. Those weeklies have incredible, like psychopathic pro gamers in it every single week. Ooh, Glaive's coming down, an extra few gateways coming down for Trap as well. 4 Gate Glaive Adept with Prism. Getting nice and aggressive here for game 1.
This is like the first time we've seen this entire tournament. There's been like 1 or 2 Void Ray into Glaive Adepts. I don't think anyone's opened straight Glaive Adepts. Like, we've just seen so much Stargate play. So, I mean, I get it. It's hard to break people with just a straight up Glaive Adepts, but I'm very curious to see exactly what happens because... Oh, okay. Yeah, that's so there's commitments and then there's commitments. 6 gates. Holy crap. This is massive. Now, I don't see, I mean, the Roach Warren will be finished in a little bit. So it's interesting to see because Zerglings, great versus small numbers of Adepts. Not very good versus Glaive Adepts, but still can kind of help. You get like 14, 15 Glaive Adepts, and Zerglings become almost useless. So it's all going to be about the Queens and the Roaches as this Adept count spirals out of control for Trap.
Yeah, the Lings are basically your kind of like a meat shield to slow them down so that they can kill Lings instead of the things that matter, like your drones, like your Queens, like your Roaches. And 1 Queen does go down, Trap canceling the shade, rotating those Adepts up to the high ground, and SERRAL keeping those Lings alive, just waiting to get that Roach number up higher and higher and higher. Obviously, cutting drones at 39 here, extremely important for SERRAL, because it's just all about holding those Adepts. And Trap, supply blocked on 70 at the moment, but Warpin's on cooldown anyway.
Oh my god, that's a lot of Adepts, Maynard. And they're getting multiple Queens. Big Zergling surround. And you know what? Quite a few Roaches landing hits as well. This actually looks like it might be a cleanup for SERRAL.
He's going to kill at least 3 or 4 of them there on the way out. And now there was a 5th one going down. That's a lot of Adepts killed by SERRAL. Let's have a look at the units lost. Yeah, 8 Adepts have died. So that's a ton of damage done to Trap's army. And keep in mind that Trap was really, really committed here. So he's going back to probing. He's starting to make an immortal now as well. But yeah, like it's starting to look like that SERRAL could stabilize as long as the next wave gets dealt with really easily.
Yeah, only 37 drones for SERRAL, which doesn't sound great. But you got to remember, with Adepts, they can do a little bit of damage. But if they like get in and you don't have the response, it can just instantly like a light switch gets flicked and all your drones lights get flicked off. That's what happens. Like you get 2 drones in a mineral line uncontested, 2 drones in another one. You lose 12 drones in a few seconds. So the overcommitment to defense for SERRAL, I think, is the perfect decision in this scenario. Just keeps things tight and controlled. And oh, that prism almost goes down.
Oh man, if only the Queen at the 3rd was a little bit more in position, she actually might have been able to really threaten that. But the Prism is going to escape with the Adepts in tow, and the rest of them are moving back as well. That Shade would be suicidal, so Trap cancels that as well. And yeah, it looks like we're going to start going into a bit more of a normal game as the dust settles on this attack from Trap. It's taking a 3rd Nexus. SERRAL going up to Lair, droning again as well as he moves out with his superior Zerg forces to try and punish the Protoss for their early game sins.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. Try and get over there and see exactly what can happen, of course. This is a good pullback for SERRAL. I always look at that and I'm like, yeah, slow roaches, don't overcommit into Immortals off creep, mate. Definitely don't do that. Good fight for SERRAL so far, though. Trap's a bit far out of the map.
I got a little bit worried for the link count there for Trap, honestly, but the Adepts still seeming to do what they do best, and that is kill Zerglings, kill light units. It looks like there's 8 or 9 of them here. Again, Resonating Glaives, don't forget, so they're very, very effective against the Lynx. So Trap's just posturing, puffing out his feathers, clearing up a little bit of creep. SERRAL going to use this opportunity to try and attack the 3rd Nexus. Sentries here shouldn't get too much done at all. Yeah, it's got to pull back.
Yeah, indeed. That was overall quite well done, I think, for SERRAL to just stabilize, keep his units alive. He's up a handful of workers, and you got to remember this is a very early game focus from Trap. He wants to push very hard. He'll transfer a few probes over. Oh, the Link backstab. Open natural, but doesn't go for it. Just going to go for the pylons on the 3rd. Adepts warping in. A big Adept warp, and SERRAL's got to pull back from that fight, but he's got a big fight going on his side of the map.
Yeah, this actually looks really good for Trap. There's 4 Immortals here, Big, and a lot of Adepts, which can also just use this distraction moment to maybe try and hit the natural. But SERRAL with the fast wall in there, stopping the Adepts from causing too much of a problem in his natural and main infrastructure. The fight is all here at the 3rd base, and I'll tell you what, that roach count, a lot more convincing than it seemed as the Adepts pull back. And if SERRAL can get in range of that Prism, then maybe he's got himself, a lot more room to breathe. But it seems like Trap's got another warp in. A lot more Stalkers coming in to help out with that roach number. Now threatening the 3rd hatchery. Oh, this is getting dicey for SERRAL here. That's a lot of firepower for the Protoss.
Yeah, the Warp Prism is such a big problem. The way Trap just keeps so many of his units alive, and you mentioned it before, 4 Immortals. You don't want to run into that with Roaches. That wave of Force Field's doing a lot to keep SERRAL back in the Adepts. They might not be the best versus the Roaches, but they shred drones and Zerglings, and they do a good job of tanking. An Immortal does not go down. He saves both of them. 1 Immortal finally falling there. Dude, this is so close right now. If SERRAL can break the Immortals, he's got it, but that Warp Prism, a thorn in his side.
Yeah, that Prism is basically giving these Immortals blink here, and that Prism's still alive. The Queen's never seeming able to get in range of it. They're trying to right-click on it now, but I feel like the damage is done. Like, even if Trap manages to pull back here and win the fight, I mean, obviously that's GG, but even if SERRAL pushes him back, he's lost so many drones. Trap's got 54 probes, a 3rd Nexus, and this is just a massive lead for the Protoss. This seems like it might be lights out for the Zerg in game 1.
Yeah, it definitely is a bad spot. 38 drones versus 54. Now Trap says, okay, I can take a deep breath. These Immortals don't have a lot of support. Keep them alive. Don't force your way in. Add some sentries. Keep poking around. Get the Observer over here to clear up some creep. Add the Disruptors, the gases behind it. These are all great moves. And remember, guys, for those who don't know, SERRAL won the coin flip at the start. This is his map server and map pick in game 1. But, whoa, the Immortals. Dude, the roach speed actually allowing him to get on top. SERRAL getting a pretty good fight.
Yeah,
but he's got to wipe out these Immortals.
Meanwhile, one just walks across the map here from the natural, and that Immortal is fresh, and it has got blood on its cannons. Looking real good still here for Trap, continuing the pressure on that 3rd hatchery, which is a ghost town right now. No drones except for those 3 on the extractor. And yeah, still 3 Immortals for SERRAL to have to deal with. He's trying to make Ravages. He's making Roaches 3 at a time. And it just seems like he's run out of steam. He doesn't have the lava to keep up. He's lost all of his Queens. Another Immortal coming in from the natural.
Whoa, this is such a nice play from Trap. Just constant pressure from the start. And I think a big gamble. This is not Trap playing low risk StarCraft. This is Trap saying, let's go pretty much the most unexpected thing, a 6-gate Glaive Adapt, something we almost never see at this level of play. But he said, you know what, it's his map, it's his server. If there's any time to take a big risk, set the pace of this series. It's game 1. I'm already at the disadvantage, take the big risk, and he gets SERRAL off balance. Takes the first. All right, everybody. Up here in the top right side in the blue, we've got Trap. Nice game 1 victory, but guys, he came across the map very early, so kind of skipping the intro, down here is SERRAL. He went for a 15 hatchery. So he actually rushed his hatchery to deny Trap from being able to block it. A really nice meta move there from SERRAL. And I think, I always talk about Rogue having great preparation. I think maybe still the best in the world, Rogue, for like sniping people. But SERRAL has all these little adjustments where you can really tell he does study his opponent's habits. And that there, I think, kind of says, hey, Trap, you went for a 13 pylon to get across the map this early. You literally cut a worker early on to do this, block on my hatchery. You've got to be pretty frustrated because me building my hatchery 1 supply early doesn't cost me nearly as much as you sending a scout across this fast in the game.
Yeah, you're quite right. And to translate that into Twitchinese, it basically means that that Trap is like not like this, and SERRAL is lol cake Ayla giggle forehead.
That is exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's feeling pretty good. It's definitely an early game advantage for SERRAL. Does it mean it's game winning? No, but it does mean slight advantage to the Zerg for game 2.
I think okay, now you've just ruined me, Maynard. Now you've just put my head down into different like Twitch analogies. I'm like, no. It's more like Trap's like, oh, sorry, I know mate. The streamer. I've been watching them since 2018, and then SERRAL's the mod who's like, I have their phone number.
Indeed. Well, you know, we're talking about how Trap's an honorable macro Protoss, Mr. Stargate, and it seems to be that that game 2 is more so here for Trap. That SERRAL's Ling is on the way in. And SERRAL's Lings just always seem to get what they want, you know, and that is scouting information. He does see that Stargate. Confirms it. Very
nice. Yeah, the Adept sleeping at her post a little bit. Lets that one in. And that's not what you really want. But Void Ray opening for Trap. Not altogether unexpected. As SERRAL does keep on pumping out the Queens, the Drones, the Overlords as well. And, you know, Trap's done this in a few different forms throughout this tournament. We've seen Trap go for the, you know, okay, I'm going to try and go into Colossus. You know, he can play a good Colossus Disruptor push with Blink Stalkers. He can absolutely play the mass, you know, lots and lots of Void Rays. I think Trap's favorite style usually seems to be, I'm going to add a whole bunch of Void Rays, get +1 after this Oracle, and then go for like Zealot Archon Disruptor. So it kind of gives him this cool mix of units where I feel like a lot of Protoss, if they go the Zealot Archon, they're like, I need to kill your 4th base with this like surprising attack. And their follow-up's very slow. But Trap will do it in a way where he kind of forces you to build a ton of Roaches, a ton of Queens. The Zerg's like, cool, I defended the attack. But then his Disruptors arrive. And he's just on your doorstep for the rest of the game. Just throwing Disruptor balls at you and picking away. So it puts you in a very uncomfortable position if you are a kind of even a little bit behind against Trap. It feels like he just chips away at you all game long.
He starts +1 ship weapons in a second Stargate here, so a different tech path for Trap. Obviously going to go heavier on the Void Rays in this game. SERRAL fighting said Void Ray over here by the 3rd base. Oracle getting a little bit of drone damage over in the natural. Got 2 of them there. So, I mean, as long as the Oracle lives, damage is damage. Good stuff there for Trap. Dropping the Forge as well back at home with the second Stargate coming down. So, yeah, we can get a good idea of what the Protoss is up to. SERRAL at the moment, yet to have the commitment to Stargate unit information at his, you know, available to him just yet. He sees the 3rd Nexus timing, but he doesn't have like 100% confirmation that he's up against a lot of Void Rays coming up here.
No, he won't find that out for a little bit as well with such a late lair. But that is, you know, I say it's such a late lair. I mean, in general terms, kind of normal for the way he's playing. Actually, caught a bit out of position. The Oracle's going to get 3 kills. Oh, don't hang around there, Trap. That's your only mobile scout, man. You lose that Oracle, it's really hard to see if there's a big muta switch coming or anything like that. And he might get caught on the way out. No. Good micro from Trap. Really well handled. So he goes for the Robo now. Expect to see when that Robo's finished. Second Robo. Maybe not second Robo, actually, sorry, but Robo Bay and Templar Archives at the same time. And This is like, we've seen a lot of players in this week, 2-week period. There are so many tournaments on. There are qualifiers for everything known to man. We've just had season finals not long ago. We've just had Stay at Home Story Cup. We've got TSL qualifiers. We've got this Pigsty Festival. We're seeing a lot of the players, in the midst of having to play so many games, fall back on their strongest, most solid, most powerful build that sets them up for the mid game. And for Trap, this is the one he's shown the most. It's exactly what we said. Void Rays, get the Zealots Archons, get the Disruptors, and then you can kind of adapt and adjust from there. SERRAL, on the other side, of course, pretty standard Zerg setup. I think the only interesting thing is there's no Spire. Whereas more recently, I feel like the Zergs are almost always going Infestation and Spire at the same time, just to keep their options open.
Oh, more and more air coming down here for Trap. The River Bay coming down as we sort of expected, but also the Fleet Bacon sizzling in the pan there, which is on brand for the Pigsty Festival. Oh, okay. Here's the first bit of information for SERRAL to confirm. Yes, indeed. We're going to be playing that kind of ZvP. So,
oh yeah.
SERRAL starts his Hive. And obviously with Hive, you have a ton of utility against units like this. You can have access to the Viper. You can start getting to the tier 3 air units as well. But yeah, Spire does need to drop here for SERRAL, as I was just about to say before he dropped it. Got to drop the Spire here. Got to start getting up a ball of Corruptors. And I guess, rotating the Mutas as well, depending on how many Void Rays you're up against. So Corruptors, Vipers, all that kind of thing going to be important here for SERRAL in the next few minutes.
Don't forget the favorite Zerg units are always the ones that use their children as weapons by flinging them into the opponent. So right. Broodlords are very likely on the menu as well. Ooh, okay, the Oracle does get taken down. Not bad at all there for SERRAL. As F-Veins, Carriers, Disruptors all coming out for Trap. And it's kind of settled in this point. We don't see Lurkers in this sort of game. And it's for a very good reason. Lurkers are good versus ground. And
they don't shoot
ground
up.
army, what has he got? 2 Zealots, 2 Adepts, and 75 Probes. It's the only things on the ground. So it's kind of like this point where the meta has hit, where people are like, oh, you're not building any ground units, I won't build any Lurkers, and we're just going to go straight to kind of the supreme late game part.
Yeah, Infestors already in the way here for SERRAL as well. We're seeing a lot more Infestors again in ZvP. Obviously they used to have their time with the Broodlord, but they're coming back. They've been looking real good in that late game for Zerg against those tier 3 Protoss armies. And Trap's on the move out right now. He's moving out with his carriers. Queen's moving to intercept that forward wave of Void Rays here, but doesn't really have much support for these Queens. So definitely needs to respect this ball of Stargate units. It doesn't look very, very scary because it's just, 3 carriers and a handful of Void Rays, but they all have +1 attack, and they are all scarier at this point in the game. We're only 8.5 minutes in. That's a pretty spooky army for all things relative for the Zerg at the moment.
Well, Zerg going to cannibalize some of their buildings to get a bit more energy on these Vipers. The Overseer Scouts in, does see the Twilight Council transition is underway. So it is going to be going into the, of course, High Templar for the feedback to deal with the spellcasters and everything else.
Archons as well, yeah.
I got to say, what's so fascinating about, especially you think about SERRAL versus Showtime yesterday, which no doubt Trap has looked at. And I've been saying for a while that, I do think there are chinks in the armor. There are little weak spots. I don't think SERRAL is the most perfect, unstoppable late-game player. Is that because he's worse than he was in 2018? You could argue it. I think it's more that everyone else is better and that his Broodlords don't shoot as far as they once did. His Broodlords used to shoot a bit further. He figured out, so there's some micro he could do where when they were actually targeted on a specific unit, they shot effectively a couple of range further, and you could kind of have this crazy leash range where you could stutter step them, and the opponent's ground units couldn't really get anywhere near them. So that was part of why, his end game was so dominant in that year. One of the many pieces amidst his, absolutely insane skill. But it's also something where Showtime found some weakness with some movement. He was recalling Tempests around, attacking from 2 sides constantly. I think the big mistake Showtime made in that series was giving up control of the center of the map for too long. So in most of those maps, SERRAL would eventually get a big forward set of Spore Crawlers controlling the center. And at that point, SERRAL could choose where to attack, and Showtime couldn't rotate without going all the way back to his side of the map. He had to avoid this Spore Crawler outpost. So I think that's a cool idea. Maybe Trap saying, oh, I learned a few things about the habits there. And unlike that last big finals I played against SERRAL, I'm not going to play crazy all-ins every game, I became way too one-dimensional in that series. I looked so afraid to go to late game that after a few games, it was well, he knows what's coming, and they're different all-ins. It's still an all-in. If you're afraid to go to late game, it makes SERRAL's life way easier.
We've got multiple things happening right now. We've got a Prism heading towards the Natural, flying into the main base. The Stargate army moving through the middle of the map. And we also got a ground force up to the north side. Archon's coming in with a warp in of charge lots, and SERRAL cannot get rid of that Prism. So the warp in is going to happen. The warp in is good. And charge lots are hitting that 9 o'clock base now for SERRAL. Lots of drones going to go down. 0 defenses here for the Zerg until the Queens get up. And these Archons also causing big problems for the Zerg. And that air army, like the powerful army for SERRAL, is just immobile. It's the Broodlords right now, and it's got nothing to do. There's nothing for it to fight. He's fighting gateway units with just handfuls of lings and roaches.
Dude, I mean, the air army wants to come in, but Trap's like, I can't because SERRAL's air army's there, but you know what? That's good enough. I've immobilized it just by scaring him. If those Spire goes down, that is massive. The Greatest Spire, it has +1 air attack on it. The Zealots are going to get it. Greatest Spire falling in the main in a moment. Ooh.
Big moves there. Gets it taken down. The Prism does go down. Void Rays show up. They're going to eat a Parasitic Bomb. A few Yoinks as well. Some of them going to escape with a recall, but a couple of Void Rays went down. But considering the damage that Trap has done, I'd be pretty happy here as a Protoss with how things just went down. +3 ship weapons, over halfway done here. And he's also researching Blink, replenishing the carriers lost. And with, I mean, that's double Robo, I think, coming up now. So he can go into anything he wants here. Does he want more Archons? He's got it. Does he want more Robo units? He's got it. Can he go into a lot of Disruptors at once? Yes, he can. Can he go into lots of Stalkers at once if he needs them against the Broods in a desperate sort of measure? Yes, he can. Like, there's all the infrastructure for Trap is just about to be done in a few seconds here, while SERRAL is remaking that Greater Spire, remaking that Spire, and also getting the Ultra Cavern down as well. So he's still trying to get to having every single access to all the tech paths that he needs to deal with regular late game Protoss things.
Indeed, and Mama is about to pop out in the main base for Trap. 3 more carriers as well. We'll bring the count up to 6, so good carrier count. No Tempest on the field yet, so none of the chipping away units. Oh, Prism in the bottom says, okay, SERRAL, all right, I'm going to need to go in with at least 2 Prisms at a time if I want to get past that.
Just a few spores. I mean, that will stop the Prism. It doesn't have enough map to be able to get past all that. And also it'll stop Void Ray harassment, which has been annoying for SERRAL so far in this game. That's, you know, it's all about getting that carrier count up right now. So, Trap's not too concerned about Void Rays anymore. He's concerned about getting Archons underneath carriers with Storm, with Disruptors, and having ultimate splash damage and ultimate DPS on those +3 attack carriers. Still some Void Rays left over from earlier, but as we can see, he is producing a lot more complexity to this army rather than just going like heavy Void.
You know, SERRAL, I liken him to a crocodile in this matchup, Maynard. He literally just... I know sometimes people don't like watching SERRAL's ZvP because they feel he just sits there, but that's what a crocodile does. It just looks like a plank of wood with like mud on it and stuff. His Broodlord's out in the open, dude. He's got to be real careful.
Yeah, Trap could have gotten really lucky there, and SERRAL really unlucky if the Broods went a little bit too far and he got notice of them separating from the pack there. The Hyenas are waiting for those Lions to get separated from the pack so they can pounce them and take them down in greater numbers. Big feedbacks on the Vipers, and that's obviously really bad for SERRAL. He has been juicing those things up to support his army in a pitched battle, but now he hasn't got any support at all.
Yeah, dude, those, you know, I'm talking about him being a patient crocodile that just waits and waits until his prey kind of comes too deep and tries to make something happen, and that's when he snaps his jaws shut. Well, that was actually SERRAL getting a bit overeager. The pressure that Trap's been mounting, the mass rate of expansion, the pretty good trades Trap's been taking. I say pretty good trades. He's ahead 100 minerals in the units lost tab. Doesn't sound like a lot, but SERRAL is almost always ahead in these sorts of games, so it is a bit of a departure from the norm.
SERRAL's using some throwaway units here to try and do what he can over at Trap's side of the map, which is substantial, by the way. The Protoss has out-expanded the Zerg, it seems. Like, there's so much Protoss on the field at the moment. It's absolutely insane, and SERRAL's been pinned back to the bottom left corner of the map with Trap having a lot more of this map under control, but it does look like SERRAL is looking to put that fight, but one of the Infestors gets a little bit too close to that feedback, gets insta-popped there by that feedback. And again, the spellcaster support units here for SERRAL have not been able to get a whole lot done.
He recalls the army down to the bottom right. The Viper Corruptor is looking for some abducts. They find nothing is there. And Trap gonna dive down that side. Where is Mama waiting? Oh, she's rotating to the top left. Okay.
Multiple recall, yeah.
Yep. Recall bottom right, push in, recall top left. Does lose a base in the top left. Cool maneuvers coming out of Trap right now. And I do love the movement. But like I said, remember, you've got to be wary of giving up control of the center. And look at all this static for SERRAL. He's really anchored his positions very nicely.
In comes Mama for the offensive recall, but oh, SERRAL might be in position for some of this if he can get a few of those spells off. No, he actually doesn't have any units in position at all. I stand corrected. This base is in tons of trouble. And as the Vipers get in range, they just all get fed back to reality. Oops, there goes gravity, etc., etc. It's just not very good at all here for SERRAL. He continues to take more and more damage. He does pick off Mama, though. She goes down.
And just remember, yeah, he does take a bad trade, SERRAL, overall. Like, Trap getting a bit of value. He's just got to be so careful on the exit. It's like you get in there, you make things messy, but you got to watch out for the spinning elbow on the dismount, man. Abduct. Okay, yeah, finally. That is 1 for 16. That was the first abduct that he's actually landed out of like 10 Vipers getting feedback. So SERRAL, I think, finally has got to kind of go, yay, I killed a unit. This is feeling a bit better. But he's still got good creep in the middle. And Trap is still just kind of hanging around on this army. And he's actually going to make the Tempest transition, which I wonder, do you think he builds like forward cannon batteries and goes full Harstem on this, Maynard?
Yeah, I think you gotta start pushing forward with your mineral bank a little bit. Just get those the shield batteries and cannons and stuff in the Zerg's face. Have that fighting position. Just really make things harder. I mean, why not? It feels so inexpensive when you think about what those things cost relative to your position in the game, and considering Trap still has a ton of this map mining as well, and he's got a fresh base just finishing at the front of his doorstep as well. That ramp coming down between the third and the fourth. Bottom. Oh, catch on the Void Race. This could be great for SERRAL.
I think the Overlord must have seen them coming over here. Parasitic Bomb. Doesn't abduct. I don't know. I feel like he should just have abducted there, right? I don't think any of those Void Rays should have got away. So I think SERRAL, you know, for those who don't know, he did get his daylight savings a little bit mixed up. It just kicked in. So he arrived without really the same preparation and warm-up that he might have, but I mean, he's got to rub that sleep out of his eyes. He's got to get a bit more switched on, because little mistakes like that, letting a few Void Rays get away, uncharacteristic of him. He's still covering all of his tasks well overall, but it feels like Trap's definitely got some freedom. And they've both got giant banks. They've both been trading blows. I do wonder, though, giving up control of the center. This is the scary thing. When SERRAL gets those Spore Fortresses up, you start losing areas of the map where you can control. Zealots are going to try and break SERRAL on the bottom side. I like this. Just run past the static. Goodbye, Great Aspire again.
Yeah, that's just so annoying for SERRAL. Obviously, he doesn't want to be worrying about what's happening in his main base and what's happening at home while he's trying to get his siege units up to the front side. The Ultra is coming home with a Roach. Let's get some cuddles in on those Zealots. Oh,
it's actually so funny. SERRAL saw the Zealots. So, dude, that's so sick.
Annoying.
You know what's funny as well? SERRAL saw the Zealots, so he cancelled +3 on the Greater Spire, started it on the other Spire. Trap saw that only the other Spire was wobbling, so that's why he targeted it instead of the Greater Spire, and he ends up losing the upgrade. So great plays from both sides, and a little bit of frustration there for SERRAL. He is going to come in here. Baneling's clearing the static. Roaches. He really wants to get rid of these Roaches. These Roaches are such a trash unit at this point. Ling Bane Ultra much better. So I think he's very happy to trade those out with the Stalkers. The Ultra will back off. The Roaches will be left to lose their lives. SERRAL's like, that's wasted 14 supply. Please clear it for me.
Yeah, the Roaches have not been useful for quite a while here for SERRAL. Void Ray is getting a little bit too close to that ball of Zerg units. There we go, just using the Abduct here to confirm Void Ray kills. And actually, he's coming back with the ground units again, this time bringing in some melee boys with the Ultra on the river. Actually, a good threat to the bottom side base. Going to force Trap to respond if he wants to keep that base alive.
Yeah, Stalkers are mobile, but they're very micro-intense. Oh, balls! Balls on the Queens! Big double ball!
Oh, man! And the Infestor's Caster, please put your Disruptor Balls in the middle of this Cloud spell. Ooh. Oh, man.
Can he at least get Mama to make him pay for it? Okay, looks like he does get Mama there. And she's so expensive that I think with the base skill on the bottom, it's okay for SERRAL. I keep checking on that unit sloth tab, and indeed it has turned around. SERRAL is ahead a few thousand resources, so we're back in the normal, comfortable territory of the Finnish Phenom. Late game ZvP, it is so hard to be more efficient than this Zerg player. Trap is going to have to pull out the stops to make it happen, and I do think he's going to have to start to bully SERRAL a little bit more. I understand there's fear with kind of getting abducted, but there's too much creep spread. So I really think that if you think about late game ZvP, it's can I land feedbacks? Can I land abducts? Can I land fungals? Can I land disruptor shots, right? It's that dance of the spellcasters, and then it's how your army can capitalize on landing those spells. If SERRAL has this much creep, I mean, that gives his queens, his infestors, his spores mobility, but it also gives him vision. If we look at SERRAL's vision for a moment, he sees so far in front of his army. Now, if we look at Trap's vision, he's got one observer with a tiny bit of vision out front his cannons and batteries. And this is why I think when you're sitting there, you know, on a lot of minerals and so on, building cannons and batteries, I mean, it's good to secure the edge bases, but I actually think controlling the center of the map is more important. And SERRAL is the one who keeps doing it. I think it's the player with the Tempests who actually has the superior ranged picking power. So I'm actually very convinced Protoss players are making a strategic misplay by letting him control the center.
I will defer to your superior judgment there, Pig, and just say that every Protoss is dumb. I think that's what you're trying to say right now.
Absolute morons. I mean, how can he not think of that while handling 500 actions at once, dealing with the best Zerg in the world, Maynard?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like,
and it's the ridiculous. Same mistake every other Protoss makes. I mean,
back when people,
idiots.
Look, back when people gave a shit about Hearthstone, there used to be StarCraft streamers that could ladder and play Hearthstone at the same time. Why can't we have people realize during a 500 APM game when you're starting to juggle a bunch of cards to the best players against the whole world, where your bases need to be? Like, come on.
No, I mean, it's just, I do wish we could get pro players in 2021 on the caliber of Dragon, but unfortunately, it's this new generation. They're just not as good, man.
We are left wanting. Cup in hand, waiting for more professional players of that caliber.
Oh, Bigling Bane attack runs into, that's a lot of cannons. Baneling's pretty good versus stacked static though. And yeah, he's gonna actually kill quite a few probes. We've all seen +3 Adrenal Zerglings on probe lines. It is absolutely disgusting. They just rip them apart, you know. It's like when a cat finds a couple of mice living in your house. But hold that analogy. We've got Broodlords in the middle of the map starting to break through. This is what the forward position gives SERRAL. Like I said, he can attack in the top, bam, you're out of position, runs in, kills a bunch of static, pulls back. He's got the vision advantage. The Tempest, can they get a shot off? Can they get one? Nope. They got to pull back. Vision advantage is huge here. Now, where are those oracles? He's got 2 oracles just behind. So I actually really wanted to see Zaun get forward. Oh, not again!
Oh, that's another mothership pick off there. I think that's the 3rd one. We also, down at 9 o'clock, had a little bit of action as well. I think there might have been some charge lots running by or something like that for Trap, but didn't get a whole lot done. SERRAL is starting to look a lot better on the bank as well. Like his bank was decent, but not insane. And at the moment, it's starting to get towards insane, which is good. Obviously, he's still superior in bank versus the Protoss. And if he can continue to bankroll more and more of these incredible units, look at the minimap right now as well. Like, remember when that map was mainly trap? I see bases that used to be traps that are SERRALs now.
Dude, SERRAL is he's a festering wound, you know. If you don't get treatment for it quickly, it's gonna get a lot worse. It's gonna become completely out of control. And I mean, it fits in with the lore of Zerg as well, right? You know, you're a disgusting set of bugs that basically infest the entire map, and if you let the swarm thrive, I mean, it's gonna get out of control. And that's exactly what SERRAL has done here. I do like this cute little counterattack in the bottom right. 2 Storms, 3 Archons. Not an easy army to deal with Zergling Baneling, and Ultralisk is on the way. SERRAL just gonna hold off engaging that with the Ling Bane. Oracle's coming forward, and does get some nice tags. The Disruptor's looking for some Disruptor shots. They will get 1 Queen, damaging a Spore Crawler as well. The Ling Bane wanting to fight. He's gonna go for the High Templar.
That's the High Templar, yep. Gets the High Templar, which is great, but I don't think the Lings win this fight. So Trap's probably gonna kill this base anyway, despite SERRAL's best efforts there. But at least he got the High Templar, I guess.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, losing the base, not the end of the world, but the value, keep the Archons alive. Heal them up, go back. You know, just look for positive trades is so important, especially with the gas, which can be very, very vital. That being said, I've actually seen these guys in the modern meta, because they're so focused on having a big enough army to win fights, they kind of focus on gas so hard and minerals not that much, that when they start trading these edge bases like this, sometimes it's actually the minerals that runs out and there's still gas left over. So we'll keep our eyes on it, see if that happens this time around. Now, SERRAL, will he at any point get the Neural Parasite on an Oracle and tag Trap's own army? That's personally what I think, Maynard. Taking bets, because this game could go for a while. This is where we start making bets.
Oh. The Infestors haven't been tagged by the Oracle, so they're a little bit in the dark there as they have that high ground. I guess as they run past the Spore Crawlers, Trap can kind of see them there with the Tempest, but isn't able to pick off any of them. And it looks like the Invisible Man is out and about, but not really getting a whole lot done with them just yet.
Yeah, they've been trying to get in, but so far detection's been just about everywhere. Archon Battery Cannon's so good against Ling Bane run-bys. The Void Ray's going to come in as well, turn this into a good trade for Trap. Really nicely done by him. Now, one of the things we don't see very much, but in these scenarios, sometimes it's worth putting a Cyber Core down or something like that up in front just to kind of block and wall things off. He's going to push the left side. Broodlord's not coming over to deal with this. SERRAL's going to give up ground, but he's going to take the base in the center as well. This is something SERRAL prioritizes. The Protoss are always attacking around the edges. SERRAL prioritizes center control. He will give up the edges if he has to. He doesn't want to lose this extra base. Uh-oh, Void Ray's coming over. Gonna get some of the Ultras down. The Lings tearing up the probes, or at least they will when the battery energy runs out in a moment. Those Zerglings actually could have stayed there. They just exhausted all the energy, so they would have been able to kill a lot if they hung around. But you know what? SERRAL just playing very safe for now. Obviously, both sides have capped out the upgrades. Do we see any upgrades missing? I'm kind of looking at the tab, and I don't think so.
I was about to say that SERRAL is missing +3 attack, but I didn't mention it because I'm like, he's not going to make any units that benefit from that. But I guess the Queens do. Oh, good old Archons showing up again. Just for he's gonna get cuddled though.
Yeah.
Get cuddled.
Yeah, the Archon, funnily enough, I think it's when two people combine as one, they already have enough love, so they are a little allergic to cuddles that are unasked for. Oh, one of them gets out of there.
Wow.
Oh, he's gonna push through the middle. Ooh, Disruptor Shot does hit a Changeling there as well. Army moving through the middle. And the units lost tab is still so even. I mean, Trap is doing so much with all these run-bys, and he's kind of started to really efficiently smash down SERRAL's run-bys, and he's starting to push in the middle. Now, one thing that's missing, is there no Observer right now for Trap? He doesn't have an Observer with his army, so he's got to get rid of that creep. He's pushing through the spores, though. He's cleared most of the spores from the whole middle of the map. DT's in the top left, caught by Zerglings. They're trying to get hunted down. We might see a big clash of the main army, but both guys kind of pulling away from each other. Great recall from Trap. Saves all the Dark Templar, but that top base does not have a lot of static, Maynard.
Yep, they're saved for now, but the Ling and Bane just go, where'd you guys go? Oh, right here, easy clap. Let's just take you out. Everything committing here, the melee units going to pick up that top side Nexus. The army of Trap chilling in the middle base for a little bit there, now moving to intercept. Oh, SERRAL going to catch those Void Rays. Fungal's coming down to secure their demise as well.
Very
good catch on those Voids.
Voids have not had a lot of success in this game. I mean, they haven't been committed to too much, but yeah, at this moment, Trap's like, okay, gotta keep moving, gotta keep moving. If I can catch him out of position, I might find damage. And honestly, Broodlords look a little exposed.
Oh, I thought that the High Templar might have died to the Broodlings there. The Broodlords were definitely in range. They killed one of them. Always nice. Obviously, every time a Broodling kills something, that's going to be great for SERRAL there. Big charge lot warp in down the south side. Not going to find a ton of love as those Cracklings with +3 attack just shred them to pieces. And now SERRAL's going to go on the hunt for that bottom right base. Trap's taking up the top side, and once again, it's like no clear, huge advantage for either player. An insane bank for SERRAL. But he's not spending money because he's basically got the army he wants. He's already got it. Like he's not adding any more complexity to it. Oh, top left, and Trap's got his recall off cooldown now, I think, but he is kind of Trap is trapped a little bit.
Ooh, oh my God, Maynard, this is gonna get really scary. Oh, the Disruptor, I think saves the day there. Wait, does he just not have a recall? He's got to get out.
I thought recall was off cooldown, but I guess not.
Oh no. Oh no, he's gonna have to take the trade.
Well, the Broodlords are doing amazing on that ground army. Goodbye High Templar, goodbye Archons, goodbye Disruptors. Parasitic bombs hitting those carriers as well. Is there enough firepower in these carriers coming in? Some Stalkers from downtown blinking on into the battle and picking up a couple Infestors. Neural goes down on an Archon as well as it becomes SERRAL's for a few seconds. But as the dust settles, the Zerg just completely cleans the face of the Protoss Skytoss army. There is nothing left for Trap anymore. He's trying to go up into carrier production again, and you know, 8 carriers at once is a lot of supply, but it feels like there's going to be at least a few moments here where SERRAL has complete control of the map and can start to really do some counter damage to the Protoss.
You know, I think his recall must have just not quite been ready, and he just thought it was. I think that might be potentially a game-losing misjudgment, because now all these Stalkers are not the right unit, Maynard. They're getting ravaged by the Zerglings. They
are indeed, and you know, these Stalkers were made in as a panic moment there for the Protoss. That's not the unit he really wants. He wants more carriers. He wants to have those High Templar and Archons back. The Stalkers are oh god, and now the Zerg has map control and they have Broodlords. How do I deal with that? And he's just trying to buy time. He's just trying to, in desperation here, find any kind of angle on this Zerg army. And once again, SERRAL going to take that middle, going to push those spores forward again. In come the Stalkers for the Broodlords. And here comes the support from those Infestors, though. Oh, blinding clouds even on the Stalkers as they get bundled in. Cannot fire back. Lovely maneuver. You don't see that every day.
Yeah, Fungal and Blinding Cloud on Stalkers? I mean, geez, as if one doesn't make them bad enough. Come on. That's a brutal maneuver.
And these DTs left wanting as well. It's not often you also see the Invisible Man finding almost 0 damage. The Invisible Men just have not really been helping out Trap at all in this game. SERRAL's really been on the money with intercepting them and taking them out at every single turn.
The Stalker's going to use that mobility, but if they get caught, ain't really worth it.
Yeah, got a hatchery, and that's great, but yeah, if they all die, that's way more expensive for Trap. And again, like we've been talking about banks in this game, Trap does not really have much of a bank anymore after trying to remake everything, which was a lot of Stalkers, 8 carriers on 8 Stargates at once as well, and those Banelings just killed 18 probes. So you know, the economic situation for Trap just got exacerbated there by that bit of damage from SERRAL.
Part of me feels like Trap might be thanking him and saying, well, I've a carrier all in, carrier stalker all in anyway, so more army maybe. But definitely not ideal. As I mean, it was so impressive how quickly he rebuilt 8 Stargates. It was like, damn, 8 carriers at once, but we cannot afford to lose this base. SERRAL realizing how important this base is.
Oh, he's gonna recall down here as well, but SERRAL's air army is here. Does SERRAL want to commit? No, not with Mothership here, not with all the Static D as well as the Archons. It's like he pulls back.
Ooh, we got a Stalker attack in the top left. Gonna take out another hatchery. So, Trap being nice and annoying. Bit of focus fire required up there, Trap.
Uh-oh. Yeah, if he doesn't suicide... Like, if they're all dead anyway, might as well suicide in for that hatchery. Speaking of hatcheries, one does go down here on the south side of the map. 9 o'clock getting picked off by Trap's air army. Still a ton of DPS in this force from Trap. He got remaxed super quick. God damn.
Yeah, the High Templar count's very low. This is always the funny thing. You're like, 4 High Templar can do a lot, but when there's this many spellcasters, they burn their feedbacks instantly at the start of the fight. They can't do much else, so it really is interesting to see how it unravels. But SERRAL has been playing a low Corruptor style for most of this game, and that's worked because there's been not that many air units, and a lot of them have been Tempests and Void Rays, things which the Spellcasters deal with. But Spellcasters don't really deal with carriers. Like, unless you neural them all, which is not reliable, you actually need to have a good enough Corruptor count. We did the maths yesterday. At 21 Corruptors with 3-3 versus 3-3 will one-shot a carrier. But he's only got 21, so if a single one dies, he can't one-shot anymore.
SERRAL's army getting pulled back to the high ground again as Trap's army once again threatens here.
Oh!
Sorry, I had to sneeze. I'm allergic to Protoss. all good, but
like mosquitoes, you know, it just gets up your nostrils. All the interceptors, man.
Yeah, it's springtime, you know, as well. So I got that to deal with, and I'm a nerd, so I can't handle the outside. Oh, it's just terrible. In come all the Void Rays. The air army of Trap once again threatening Zerg here, getting a time warp down to try and secure the kills on these Broodlords.
Oh my lord!
Spells absolutely everywhere. Oh no, SERRAL's losing the Broods!
Oh dude, if the Broods go down, the Archon High Templar can keep back the Corruptors. There's a good Void Ray count in here. Trap is taking an incredible fight. The Broodlord Stutter Step is awesome, but SERRAL, he's got to get out of there. He's got to keep these Corruptors alive.
I think this might be the first professional game I've seen where a player was literally 100 supply down and has managed to actually not only, you know, come back, but look like they're on the verge of a victory here with almost nothing in the bank, nothing left in the tank, but it looks like Trap may just have enough.
Oh, look at his jump in the main. He's trying to kill the tech. Goes in with a Prism, the Void Rays in the main. He's trying to get on top of these Corruptors as they pop, and a lot of them are dying, Maynard. Oh, Vipers are coming back in, though. If he can get some parasitic bombs. Woo! It's all about those spellcasters, dude. He's got to get rid of the Vipers, and he does it. Another Viper gets feedbacked.
Yeah, and every Viper that gets fed back means less and less chance for SERRAL to actually win this fight. He's just going ring around the rosy here with the Zerg army, and he does not have a pocket full of Posey's Pig. He's actually probably dead. That's so much Protoss still.
He's trying to backstab with the Zerglings to damage the economy, but Trap, I mean, he's got a huge 178 supply army. Shades of the Fist of Neeb here from Trap. So many Void Rays. If he can't land parasitic bombs on those Void Rays are such a big problem. He does get rid of Mama, but those Void Rays just keep on cornering these Corruptors.
Yeah. The Corruptors are in a great count for just dealing with a bunch of carriers by themselves, with the Void Rays just have to be respected by those Corruptors. Look at these Interceptors just tickle those Broodlords. They really don't kill them very fast at all. A lot of probes do go down for Trap, and Trap is broke, but that's not the problem here. You know, getting rid of Trap's economy. Serral's had a better economy all game, pretty much, but he's just not been able to actually get the better fight in the end. He had one great fight, obviously, where he really erased Trap at the 9 o'clock position, but since then, Trap's counterattack has found damage without losing much at all, as he had like that warpath through the middle of the map. Look at this carrier count. It's absolutely insane. I don't even think these Corruptors matter anymore. That's too many carriers.
Yeah, 14 carriers? Like, dude, it's such a huge army. And he's going to get a Corruptor on the way out, turns around, does several, grabs a Void Ray, grabs another. I mean, good micro is good micro, but oh, even the Archon's getting some splashies on the Corruptors as they get out of there.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think we're going to see SERRAL tap here soon, man. I did not expect SERRAL to lose this game, but I think he's about to tap. This is just... He's running around, but I don't see a winning play. Like, what is he buying time for? Like, what's the comeback here? He's just trying to make more Corruptors and hope that he has enough Corruptors to win the air fight. I don't think 6 more Corruptors actually still wins against this many carriers.
Well, how often do you see a player lose the first big maxed out battle and then come back? It almost never happens in this matchup. And yet Trap there, cool, calm as a cucumber, and he makes a very awesome comeback. Well done.
Shoutouts. In the bottom left, from the Afrika Freaks, currently looking real good in the series so far, this is Trap.
And his opponent in the bottom right side, it looked like he got that game under control after, I would say, a rough kind of early period in the mid game, or early late game, since they both rushed there. But in the end, overwhelmed. This is SERRAL. Maybe a little light on Spore Crawler. So I think what Trap opened up in that last game was like in the movement and the constant rotations and the chaos. At a certain point, he did clear the creep in a lot of areas, and he did clear a lot of the spores through the middle. And we saw that when he pushed through, there was like a handful of spores supporting that army. And remember, SERRAL was playing a very low Corruptor style, and he had a lot of supply committed to Ultraling Bane, doing all these run-bys. And Trap for most of that game had a lot of supply and Zealots and Archons fighting them, but it felt like he almost shifted into like, okay, let's just more carriers, more Void Rays, let's go. And he took the fight really decisively, and it felt like SERRAL was caught a little bit flat-footed. You saw him just... The Broodlords can't retreat very quickly, right? So I think if he had his choice, he probably would have just kind of backed out of that, said, oh, pull way back, build another 20 spores, get some more Corruptors, drop some parasitic bombs and do it. But when you know, the Broodlords are sticking out like a sore thumb, Trap said, okay, you can't run away from this or you're going to lose all of your anti-ground. And I think that was just really expertly done, and honestly such a surprise, because it's so rare we see someone come back when they lose the first big max battle.
Indeed. It's like I was looking at the supplies at one point, and there was literally a 100 supply advantage for SERRAL at one point, and then Trap remaxed on Stalker and Carrier, and I'm like, well, that's not enough. That's not the right units. Surely he doesn't come back from here, but boy, was I left red in the face.
Dude, I talk so much smack on people who build Stalkers in late game as well. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm
that's
always
like, for me, that means they're dead when you're making Stalkers. It's like, oh god.
It's like this either turns the fight in your favor because you're like warping into the battle kind of thing, and then you win straight away, or you're like, oh god, I can't believe I dumped money into this unit. Ugh.
Can't believe I've done this. We are going to have a Stargate opener again here for Trap, which means that, as Pig mentioned, this generally goes to the later stages of the game. So we hope you like the last game, because this one may just be a rematch of a similar army style.
Yeah, and is SERRAL brave enough to queen walk when he's down 0-2? You know,
I hope so.
He doesn't. He doesn't have as much success as the Lambos, the Elazers in this world. You know, even Raynor was saying yesterday, he's like, yeah, me and SERRAL suck at queen walking. You know, we do better in the late game, but he's like, Miko, Lambo, those guys are much better at doing the queen walk kills and pulling it off. Like we mess it up always somehow. So I don't know, SERRAL and, you know, Queen Walks, not something we see too often. There was that period where he was Nidus worming a lot, but haven't seen too much of it recently.
Yeah, it felt like maybe SERRAL had a bit more of a aggressive period in his career for sure. Like, it was, you know, it definitely started 2018 as being like the you know, the year of SERRAL being the macro guy with the very, very occasional all in, but then started to go a little bit more on the all in side of things and macro rarely, which was cool to see. You know, nice to see him try that out.
I don't know if you agree. I feel like he would get too triggered when it wouldn't work because he just hates gambling. Like, he likes winning so much off his skill or losing off of his execution and his skill and like knowing, oh, I could have just done this better. Like, I think for SERRAL, it's just too infuriating to put control of the victory in his opponent's hands, which all-ins kind of naturally do, right? Because you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Always, inevitably, if they react perfectly, they hold it.
Oracle coming in with that Void and is finding some drone damage, but uncharacteristic micro error on the Oracle there from Trap. Normally very, very good with these Oracles. Loses it there for 2 drones. Not worth.
Yeah, definitely not a great start. I always feel like losing that Oracle, a bit of a bummer. And if I'm SERRAL, I definitely would be thinking about dropping a Spire the moment that my lair finishes because there's no Oracle. It's going to be harder for him to spot it. And we've seen before, if you put it out front the natural and the third, rather than on the back of the map, it's incredibly hard for the Protoss to actually check there. They're normally going around the backside with hallucinations with their Oracle, so I wouldn't mind it. I also think it's a good way to open up the game. I don't think SERRAL will do it, but if you go quick fourth, if you get a lead, and you just go Mass Muta Corruptor, super cool style. SERRAL probably, if we asked him what he thinks of it, I think he'd have some very dry way of basically saying, it's shit, I don't gamble.
It's not very good. Something like that. Yeah, I agree with that. I concur. Ooh. Well, the Void's continuing to do what they do best, and that is just wrestle map control away from the Zerg in the middle stages of the game here. So we still have the 2 Stargates ready for Trap, ready to multiple Void Rays. Very, very similar start to game, or rather similar game to the last one. And and it's up to SERRAL to identify, once again, like we said in that game, identify what he's up against, start to react to it accordingly, because at the moment, he doesn't super know yet. I mean, if you click on a Void Ray and you see, actually, no, he would know now. That's too many Voids.
Yeah. The Voids are showing themselves, so no secrecy there. I think we've got the earlier Twilight this game, so maybe if a Prism comes out, you know, I think Trap will always move out, at least, with some Zealots with charge with the Void Rays, maybe an Archon or 2. He'll look threatening. How much he actually commits to that attack, though, definitely something we'll have to wait and see. So far, though, this 2-0 lead is so promising for Trap after their last run in. And I was asking Trap earlier on, I was like, dude, who do you want to play? And he's like, I want to play SERRAL. I really want to get revenge. Like, I'm kind of pissed off at how our last big match went, and I was like, okay, that's kind of brave. I don't know if you're just saying that because it's that competitive mindset of embrace the biggest problem in front of you, challenge yourself. But
yeah,
Trap a brave boy.
He's had such a tough time against SERRAL in the bigger tournaments. Obviously, this tournament's the biggest of all time, but you know, I'm talking about like the kind of okay tournaments, like, you know, season finals, home story cup. Not obviously the same caliber as this tournament. They wish, you know, on their best day, maybe. But that's where SERRAL's been beating Trap a lot. So Pigsty, a different story.
Yeah, I think, honestly, because remember SOS used to only step it up for 100k tournaments, and he's retired.
Exactly. Yeah.
Trap is the new greatest Protoss of all time, and I think he's taking that generational standard the next, where he says, I don't show up for anything less than $6,900. So Trap here, he's bringing it together. He's showing us the builds, and this is that style which I really love to see, Maynard. Look at the Zealot Archon Void Ray. Looks like a scary attack. There's Disruptors right behind it, though. This is the one where he's going to be really active, roaming the map, putting pressure onto SERRAL. Now, one big Ling Bane surround could absolutely wipe it out, but a lot of the time, the defensive player gets stuck on Roach Queen, and those Disruptors are so good against this style. So let's see exactly what happens. What can Trap make work with the Disruptors? And which angle does he push? Does he get behind the gold minerals? I think that's always a nice area to harass from. And likewise, SERRAL. He's got a pretty good worker count. 86 workers, great Aspire, 1-1 upgrades. So if Broodlords get out, you can't really poke around too long. So Trap does need to get a move on.
I can't help feel like this is and by the way, SERRAL confirms by only seeing 2 Stargates and neither of them doing anything, that there is shenaniganry afoot. There is a ground army coming in, and therefore he has been working on roaches double time on his side of the map. He's got a very big ground army. It isn't very complex. It is just roaches and lings with queens. And actually has a couple of infestors in the backside, so I stand corrected. And yoinks to the disruptors. Very nicely done by SERRAL. Well done, sir. Nicely done.
6 banelings on an Archon. It barely feels it. But still a great trade for SERRAL. Yeah, the Vipers were perfectly timed. So that really takes the sting out of this. And I said this style looks so good for Trap when he can scare them with the Zealot Archon and then bam, there's disruptors and all this. Well, guess what? There's already Corruptors on the way. Greatest Spire is about to finish. I definitely think with this economy, SERRAL feels like he's a little bit ahead of the curve. And Trap, he's only now got the Fleet Beacon on the way. So tech-wise, in terms of just like where the players are at, there haven't been that many trades, but I do prefer SERRAL's position.
Yeah. I feel like this is a mistake from Trap to do anything other than go Stargate late game. You know, like lean into it a bit heavier, skip the disruptor phase of the game, and just go. It's similar to the last game where he just went into carriers. Prism gets killed by the spores. I mean, that was very easy for SERRAL to get the cleanup there. And these disruptors do get their Novas off, but only really hit a Zergling and also a couple Spore Crawlers, so nothing really convincing there. And again, like the harassment has been completely cleaned up. I think the Zealots might have seen the first few Broodlords. Deal with Broodlords right now.
Mic on. Charging battery.
Just testing, Maney. Can you still hear me?
I can.
Cool. Looks like our headset just unplugged and mic on, charging battery. The whole stream gets to hear that. That's right, guys. Sorry, guys. I don't know if I twisted the cable or what, but
well, I mean, you do have this bad habit. This happens a lot at events where Pig likes to spin in his chair while casting. You shouldn't do that if shit's plugged in.
Yeah. They did ban me from doing it naked after the second time. There was a few HR
after that one, I remember that one where you just kept spinning in chairs naked and we're like, Pig, just give it a rest, dude. It's really uncomfortable.
I thought it was fun. Anyway, Zealots coming in on the bottom side. They're going to go for the hatchery. Army on the top as well coming in. Lots of balls, but the Broodlords are there. Oh, Trap's got to pull out on the top, I think. Or does he?
Or does he, though? Disruptors, though. Yeah, the Disruptors come in and they do a really good job against those Queens, but again, the Broodlords, as long as the Void Rays are nowhere to be seen, these Broodlords are going to rule the skies and also rule the ground. Prism escapes, amazingly.
He got the Greatest Spire.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Oh, nicely done.
So I was like, I know there was fighting there. I didn't know what happened, but it looks like a Greatest Spire and a hatchery have died. Obviously, we saw that hatchery go down. So overall, though, units lost tab in the favor of SERRAL. He keeps his top base alive. And that was a very ballsy fight. Excuse my terrible puns. Didn't even mean to, The Void Rays tried to just dive on the Broodlords. He said, look, if my Disruptors can chase the Queens off, the Infestors off, they're dodging. I can just shift-click these Broods down, bam, it'll be good. But SERRAL's so good at he'll pull back the Broodlords in between shots, so they're stutter-stepping. He's dodging the Disruptors, and then he did a fungal parasitic bomb combo on the Void Rays. And the moment that hit, Trap was like, nope, recall Voids, turn army around, try to get out of here. And that's kind of the thing where it's kind of funny because Void Rays just eradicate Broodlords so fast, and Disruptors eradicate the Queens and the Infestors so fast, but like, it's just funny how intense and quick the damage goes out on both sides. So, like, if you can distract him a bit with the Zealots in the main, catches SERRAL a little more flat-footed, maybe that is a massive win, Wipes out the Infestors and just blasts that whole base apart. As it is, though, SERRAL's so quick, even in the midst of the distraction, and he manages to salvage it.
Yeah, he does indeed. See, the Tempest starting to get peppered in here for Trap, so he can start to deal with the static siege, I guess the static offense of Trap as it starts to push forward through the creep. Mothership coming in to secure her babies, provide them with her loving embrace of Cloaking Field. That's no commitments from Trappers. We do still have a little bit of a standoff. Looks like SERRAL might be the one to make a move, bringing those important units forward.
That's 5 Corruptors, mate. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you going to yoink that into 5 Corruptors? Okay, well, that just happened.
I think he was going to yoink it all the way across the map, shooting it with the Corruptors. Like, when you've got like 8 of ducks in a row and you just keep yoinking it, and you're like, well, we probably don't have a big battle for a while. We could always consume more energy, right, with the Vipers. So
Right.
Thankfully, of course, Vipers, unless they're damaged, they can never die to a feedback. Because at max energy, will do 100 damage. Viper has 150 life. An Infestor, much weaker unit, can actually get popped if it's on full energy.
Certainly can. And one of the few units you can pop. And once you pop, you can't stop. It's the Pringles rule, and we all know it, so you can't deny it.
Oh, looks like Trap actually ferried a probe to the bottom with a prism. So he's going to try and take that bottom base. Serral might try to take the top. Now, historically, even when he's got a bit of map control, Serral doesn't like to take those bases too early. He prefers to let his opponent take them and then kill them. And just kind of push his spores out to the middle. We've seen this as a habit, and it's usually a successful one. And this map doesn't have as much rotational kind of room on the sides. So if Serral can move forward, even just to this low ground area in between, where his creep is now, that's amazing. If he gets it up on the high ground where Trap's army is right now, that's like, it's a game winner. It's just massive.
9 o'clock under attack here, thanks to these Zerglings, which do have Adrenal, I believe, but they don't have their +3 attack upgrades just yet. Oh, Nova's coming into the middle of the pack, killing a few Queens. The Void Rays, though, getting yoinked and killed there by the Queen and Corrupted combo.
Oh, and he gets another High Templar. Oh, Mama saves it. That cloak field.
Nearly.
So that's what a trade.
It'd be nice if Serral could grab that Ultra in the middle of the map there. You know, that one that's sort of
to free it? Yeah,
science.
the one that's like underground, straining against his bonds. Yeah.
Yeah, just like activate the Ultralisk here and just get that thing to harass that gold base.
I just want
Obviously
hugs so badly. Let me out, please.
Oh, just want to hug something. I've been in quarantine for 1.5 years.
Oh, the one in the middle of the map is actually dead. That one's impaled. Ouch.
Yeah, that's dead. Yeah, you can't do anything with that one. Goodbye, Void Rays.
Okay, there we go. Still not very many Corruptors. Remember, Serral likes to play this low Corruptor style. I love this style, personally, because you've got all the really good high-value utility units that are very flexible. But we saw this come back to bite him in the last game. Now, right now, this is perfect. Why would you need many Corruptors? There's no carriers, right? A few Tempests, one Void Ray, one Mama. Like, you don't need a lot. But he's just got to be careful to not get caught if Trap swaps back into carriers and much heavier Void Ray production.
I think that was a DT that just died to those Banelings there. The Banelings just rolling in and just bust through that stacked up static defense. You mentioned it last game how great Banelings are against stacked up static defense. And they do exactly that. And Serral, you think he gives a shit about losing some roaches? Absolutely not.
So let please them do take what they do best here. Take them from me.
Nice.
Just wait for him to leave, boys. Oh.
Just waiting for a mate.
I can still see his face so clearly superimposed on the roach that I'm just waiting for a mate guy. The Protoss police officer pulls up. He's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You're pulled up on the curb. Your car's all crashed. Like, what the hell?
You're burrowed in the mineral line. What are you doing here? I'm just waiting for a mate.
Ooh, yoinky yoinks. Gets a disruptor. One Archon.
Oh, nibble. Not quite. Archon gets away with like 6 hit points.
He got distracted there, chased after the probe. Of course, Broodling's very short attention span units. Serral will finally take this top middle base, and that's a pretty good move for him. He's so far ahead in the units lost. Oof.
Why isn't that drone taking the base?
He's told it to take with a different drone, apparently. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Move over, nerd. Let me show you how it's done. That was so weird. All right.
Okay,
the
7
Jock
Tempests.
drone shows up and the Virgin drone becomes an extractor. Jock hatchery drone.
So, you know what, Maynard? I actually think, looking at Showtime's game and looking at Trap's games versus Serral, I think Zaun might have the best late game PvZ in the world.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I think there's going to be people who are like, immediately like, you shut your mouth, that is so wrong. But after the way I saw him play, you know, his PvZ in the group stage, I was like, wow, it was just so smooth. Up against Raynor, you know, he just looked so good in the late game, and he was very quick to get this forward cannon battery set up. Serral does not want to let him take this position. They're gonna fight for the center.
They fight for the center, but unfortunately the free units are on the Zerg side here, and the corrupted count's looking a lot better, and those fungals coming down as well. While some probes are dying over here at this Nexus, it looks like Serral managed to wrestle that Spore Crawler position in the middle of the map away from Trap and push the Protoss a bit further back. And I think 13 probes, not too bad either.
Oh, he's got to get back up there.
He's
really got to make Serral pay for this, does Trap. He should be chipping at him with the Tempest right now. I still think, I know he doesn't have Storm, but he's getting a few more High Templar coming over here. And I do think picks off another Broodlord. You know, yeah, pick off these spores. So the Tempests are the better kind of long-range chipping away unit, but this run-bys in the bottom are hurting him so much.
Yeah, you can't really handle these small amounts of like tier 1 and tier 2 melee units and a couple of roaches throwing in here. They'd be very, very annoying. He does have a good gateway count from memory, but you know, Trap doesn't want to waste time and army supply on things that aren't, you know, this Void Ray, Tempests, and High Templar with the mothership. I honestly think that the mothership might be offering a little bit too much supply here. I'm not sure how useful she'll be, but I guess the cloaking field's pretty important.
Wait, thank you for caster cursing it, Maynard. I mean, I was thinking the same thing, but now that you've said that, it's gonna like do a game-winning recall. Just
it's just
wait
so much
for
supply.
Is it 6 or 8? How much is it?
It's 8, pretty sure.
8. Oof. Makes sense for its cost,
and
right? It should be more than any other unit. I think it's the only 8 cost supply unit in the game.
I think so. It's just insane how expensive that thing is, but it is a hero unit. You only get the one, so you know, I guess it should be expensive.
Okay. I mean, Serral's taking the middle, so having to set up this position on the bottom. Trap gives up the middle. I keep saying it. You can't let him control the middle. You've got to get up there with your cannon battery and chip it in with your Tempests. The problem right now is the army is mostly Void Ray for Trap. It's going to be really good if he can fight Serral in a big spread away from spores, where the Void Rays just kind of don't get hit too bad by the spells, pick things off. For now, he's going to try and find this army, the Oracles. Ooh, he's got to be careful. Good revelation, but oh no. Oh no.
Feedback's going down and spells getting casted everywhere on both sides, but the High Templars, they come in, they get nibbled by Broods. The Infestors get fed back, some Vipers get fed back. Mama is dead. What a shock and horror. I cannot believe that the mothership died. That's crazy. And the Tempest here with their Tectonic Destabilizer upgrade, getting that extra 40 damage per structure shot. It's quite a bit.
Ooh, okay, Tempest here having a nice dance around. That Queen does get blasted. Now, the Tempest are doing a good job of picking away. You got to be careful to not get cocky. Serral's not choosing to fight you, but he will. You keep pushing in. You're gonna overstep.
Some Ultras rolling into the south side here. Disruptor's getting yoinked and pulled into the mess of teeth and claw here that is Serral. And those Infestors still looking pretty healthy on that energy as well. Definitely an army that's not convincing enough for Trap to try and dive on at the moment.
Trap doesn't... I'm kind of surprised Serral didn't dive on him. There wasn't that much support. It was just a pack of Void Rays and Tempests, but I guess it's just, you know, he's only got 15 Corruptors, and the Void Rays are able to come in with impunity, sniper hatch, walk away. Trap starting to find a bit of damage. He was way behind in the units lost. He's still behind, of course, down 5,000 resources. His trades are getting better, and that seems promising. You know what's not promising, Maynard? Serral is the top and the bottom bases right now. So yeah, he can't let this stand. Trap has to do damage. He's got to deny those bases. I mean, you can only let Serral mine one out if you mine one yourself. And right now, Trap seems like he's being pushed backwards a little bit. He has removed some center control from Serral. But it's going to be a little scary if he doesn't do something about this.
Trap suiciding some probes here to get more army supply. He does get rid of 6 o'clock. There you go. All right, starting to push the Zerg back a little bit, but it's super important that Trap, or rather, the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock portions of this map are so important to control later on in the game. They are going to continue to fight over them and have a bit of a tug of war here over who has what. Now, Trap is... still on the back foot, and both players still being trepidatious about actually committing to an engagement. But Serral's killed some probes here, but they were suicided by Trap anyway. So really, like, not a whole lot has happened.
Just a vision battle going on. Every now and then you'll see Serral poop out a bunch of changelings.
Mic on. Charging battery.
Are you still there, Pig? Are you alive?
Yeah. So
I had a Mr. Roboto Pig situation for a second there.
Yep, sorry about that, mate. Just
right.
Having some headset issues here. Keeps deciding to unplug and plug itself in, so I'll reset that in between the series. Unfortunately, if I do that, we'll lose you commentating. So we'll hold off until in between games.
Wait, so your headset unplugged means people can't hear me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, mate.
All right.
We hate you.
All right.
No. Right. This game is still going on though, and I don't know, man. It's just a battle of 1,000 cuts, but Serral's being more ambitious. The thing is, Tempest, dude, they're the better unit for chipping away. Like, at this moment, Serral's gonna crocodile it. He's gonna jump.
Gets a good fungal there on the Void Rays, but how does he get rid of the Void Rays? How does he get rid of the Tempest, for that matter? In come the Corruptors now, but it feels like a little bit late to the party. In conjunction with the spells would have been a little bit better, but he does get a nice Parasitic Bomb off in the middle of the pack there. Gonna grab the Mothership. Oh, maybe not. She pulls back to her babies. A lot of laser beams here.
Still one High Templar. Survived. He wanted to trade the Ultras out, kill the High Templar, but one of them survived. Gets a bunch of feedbacks in there. Always hard to do that. The Overseers are basically dummies. They're body doubles of the Vipers. So they're there to distract and take a few of those abducts, or those feedbacks, away. Which makes it kind of awkward. Now Trap here once again finds another hatchery. At a certain point, you are losing a lot of minerals. But I think because you're mining the top base, it's okay to keep losing this one. I think it's actually totally fine.
Like if he's losing 12, as long as he has 6, as long as it's one or the other. His base count's still very healthy. SERRAL's working count a little bit lower now, but that's by design. He has the bank that he needs to finish this game, theoretically.
Random immortal in the
thrown
top.
away here. Yeah. Why was that immortal made? Misclick, maybe?
I mean, could be anti-ultra defense, I guess. Not quite sure, but Infestors, the Vipers waiting for it. They're waiting for their opportunity. Those Tempests plus the Oracle tags, though. The focus fire has been so good for Trap. Oh, look at this. Oh, why'd he unburrow it?
That's not how that works, yeah. And you see that with the Revelations here, the Tempests are getting free pickoffs on those Broodlords. They killed 2 already. A Fungal comes down, but that's not going to actually kill anything. It is going to soften things up, but... Oh, big dive forward there for the High Templars. He's going to lose 3 of them there.
Well, that's good. Gets an Oracle as well. That looked so bad for SERRAL for a moment. I was like, dude, what is he doing running around out here? But then, bam. Fungal on the High Templar. Broodlords finish him. Gets an Oracle. Very expensive units to be going down. Of course, the units lost. Getting so much better for Trap. He's showing expert Tempest control. But we've got to bring it back to the fact that, yes, they both have giant banks. Yes, this could still go either way. SERRAL is trading more than good enough. He's got that top base mining. He's smacking in with Ultraling Bane. He's clearing out so much of Trap's control over the map. So many batteries going down.
Yeah, I'm trying to take that middle back now. And this high ground position is extremely important if you can fight here. But SERRAL's going to be more concerned about fighting on the Spore Crawlers with his creep as well. Void Ray. Zig's going to shoot his Zag, getting picked off there by the Corruptors.
Tempest looking for the Broods. Oh, yeah, SERRAL, get out of there, bro.
Yeah. He's actually got nothing that kills the Tempest here in this army.
Oh, but he's diving the Void Rays.
All right. I mean, getting rid of the Voids means the Corruptors aren't really going to be challenged by anything else.
There's not that many of them, though. And oh, the Vipers.
Oh, my God. Oh, suddenly 12 Void Rays from downtown just show up and save the bacon of that handful of Voids. It was almost like it was bait. Now, the Void Rays are engaging right over the Spore Crawlers here. I don't know about that one. They get fungal and a lot of them die. And I think that Mothership might be dead again. Nope. She gets a Storm off to protect herself again.
Oh my God. I think that was a really good decisive fight from Trap, though. Even though he didn't split versus the Parasitic Bomb, he was focusing on just making sure the Corruptors didn't get out. He knew because he was crushing the Corruptors that he wouldn't lose the Void Rays. They'd take damage. They wouldn't actually die. And now he's removing the top base. Still a lot of High Templar energy in here. Ooh, the Corruptors coming around. There's 14 Corruptors out. 6 more on the way. Not that many. And 7 carriers building Maynard. SERRAL's still got a big contingent on the ground. I think at this point, he needs to trade that out. He needs to not replace them. Because remember how he got caught last game without enough anti-air? He is in a similarly compromised position with his Corruptor count. Only 20 Corruptors, carriers coming out. He's got to throw away the Ultraling and get more Corruptors because Trap is going to push him soon. And he does not have many Spores defending his main. This whole south side looking super undefended. Right now, SERRAL has the weaker army.
It looks like while 6 o'clock has been taken down, the north side's under attack as well. As Trap is down here with the Invisible Man. And we were talking about how having 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock is important. And if you lose both, that's very, very bad for you as a Zerg here. That hatchery's still quite low, and Trap starting to take the reins here, starting to grab this game by the short hairs.
Insane to see how this goes. SERRAL only now adding his 3/3 air upgrades. Looks like he forgot about those. So a bit of a mistake for him. Better late than never.
Yeah, but never late is better, as Roddy says. Oh man, feedback's coming down on a couple of spellcasters. A storm coming into zone as well, but every single time the High Templar come forward, they do die to the High Templar, to the broodlings.
Those
Third
feels
time's a
when
charm.
you storm your own carriers because you don't want to click on each changeling individually. That's just, it actually makes sense, but it's just so funny to watch.
All right. Lings attacking the 6 o'clock now. +3 attack Lings with Adrenal. They're doing quite a bit of damage here. The Ultra's coming in off the river to help as well. Some big cuddles on that 6 o'clock. And the air army is out of position, so it looks like SERRAL is going to find a little bit of counter damage finally.
Still investing in a lot of
12 o'clock.
Zerglings. And
Oh, he
Ultras.
lost the hatchery at 12.
Oh, the cheeky Void Ray snipe got him. Uh-oh, it's worth it though. It's worth it, Maynard.
Is it though? If he can kill more than 2 Void Rays, I think so. Yep, okay, there we go.
Ooh. I thought he was going to get like 8 there. Ooh. Mama's here. I just heard a weird Protoss voice say something about a supply ship.
Assimilation successful. Yeah, I think that was a neural.
Oh.
Maybe.
Parasitic bomb does go down in the middle of those air units. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Okay, SERRAL wants to fight now. He's got 24 Corruptors, 5 more on the way. And I do think Mr. Trap needs to be a little careful about this next fight. He's got 3 High Templar for storms and feedbacks. Maybe get a few more there. He's building another carrier, another Void Ray, another Oracle for tagging as he's lost his. 6 Infestors, 4 Vipers, 24 Corruptors, about to be 29. 10 Brood
Viper
Lords.
on the edge. Oh, free Viper. Nicely done.
Ultra's in the top left, distracting Trap right now. And he's going to look for any pickoffs with those Vipers.
Gets the Parasitic Bomb off, but loses the Viper again. Every spellcaster picked off here, an Infestor dying, a Viper dying, could spell, another failed engagement for SERRAL, which would be potentially game-ending at this point. As Trap's army, it's one of those armies that really snowballs. If he starts to slightly win the fight, he's going to super win the fight a few seconds later.
I think SERRAL's mined so much more off these middle bases. Oh, but the Infestors!
The Infestors! Oh, SERRAL miscontrolling the Infestors, losing so many of them there for such little value.
Oh, that's a big spready of Void Rays. He needs more Parasitic Bombs and Fungals, but he doesn't have them right now, Maynard. Those Void Rays are so scary.
Yeah, and I think this might be that snowball situation I was talking about, Pig. The laser beams! They're rolling on in, and they just do not give a flip about your static defense anymore when they have very little Corruptor to worry about. In come the Corruptors now for SERRAL, and even on creep, even with Spore Crawler support, they're still just burrowing now. They get underneath the Void Rays, but the carriers are here. There's too many Interceptors, too many laser beams, and too many Tempests. The air army for the Protoss too strong. SERRAL is stuck again against the edge of the map. Desperation fight here for SERRAL, storming his own army. Trap doesn't give a fuck.
Oh, he's got to win this fight, does SERRAL. SERRAL has a much bigger bank, Maynard, and I think he might actually be able to do it. Believe it or not, I thought he was dead here, but I think he's killing enough of the air units. If he can take all these Tempests out, that's huge. More Void Rays come in, though. Those Void Rays are a problem.
Yeah, the Void Ray reinforce here. You were quite right. That was a lot closer than it looked at it initially, but the Void Ray reinforcement is going to be enough, I feel, for Trap to push this back again. 24 Corruptors on the way, though, Pig. 24 Corruptors.
And it's his last ditch effort. But the Void Rays, dude, they've got fuck veins. They're just going to chase this army down. They don't give a shit. He's just got to get his Corruptors together. But Trap will not let him rally. He knows how to take down a Zerg player. Get between the rallies. Do not let them regroup. Stamp on that goo before it forms back into the great big blob of Zerg.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, all this like small contingents of Corruptors coming out of these hatcheries, out of this lava, just getting picked off one at a time. And as the Void Rays come through the middle map, SERRAL potentially could be catching some reinforcements here. He might get that one Void Ray. Oh, not even. There we go, finally. But now the Void Rays have joined up with their bigger cousins. And the Corruptor count, while it would have been really terrifying with 24 Corruptors all together joining in with what remained, but I still think that Trap's army can actually win the engagement. Actually, maybe not. SERRAL's army is getting bigger now with 5 more Corruptors. And if SERRAL wipes the floor with his air army, if he kills Trap's army, SERRAL technically wins this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the funny thing is he could win a base trade if he had like a few thousand more minerals as well, because there's actually almost no cannons and batteries left. So like he could actually go and kill all of Trap's buildings right now. I don't think it would work because of recall and stuff, but it is an option. He's got mining. Trap doesn't. He's going to try and kite down with the Corruptors. It is 23 Corruptors, 6 Void Rays, 4 Carriers, 2 Tempest. Void Rays, of course. Pretty much a hard counter to Corruptors, but I actually think SERRAL can do this with Micro.
Yes, and also Trap can't replenish interceptors. He's just now mining again. I think he got some probes back to mining. He's only got 3 of them though. But every interceptor that dies, you know, normally as a Protoss, you're like, yeah, that comes back. No, it doesn't. Not the Trap. He is so broke.
Dude, this is so damn close, but I think with these spores, I mean, you called it, any interceptor that dies to these spores, a massive problem. He will catch the Broodlords, but the Corruptors keep looking for the pickoffs. They get another Void Ray. Another Void Ray will almost go down. There it is. The Corruptors now, I think, ready to just chase, and look at that bonus damage to the massive units. The Corruptors... Yeah,
even bringing in the Ultras here for the big old F2, FU, get out of my game.
/dance?
From SERRAL.
/dance? No.
Oh, /dance would have been on brand here for this particular tournament, but there it is. SERRAL wins the game and manages to keep a point on the board here for this best of 7. He seems like he lost the game with his reaction, but I can assure you he just won, chat, in case you were...
All right, guys, into map number 3. He finally drops a map, so no clean sweep here for the Protoss powerhouse, the Beast. The man who is, of course, the most consistent Protoss in the last few years. It is none other than the Africa Freaks Trap.
Triggity Trizap from the Africa Freaks, of course, and in the top right, in the red, the Finn from ENCE Esports. This is SERRAL.
All right, and just hold on one moment. We're just going to very quickly fix up the audio. 1 second.
And you try and make it work.
Mic on. Charging battery.
it's just so difficult for some reason. You'd think it's easy. You put the PC in the capture card into the other PC. But you don't think about audio, chat. That's where you get wrong. You're like, yes, my games can get captured, but now I've got frame rate issues. Now my audio routing is wrong. Now I have to worry about something called line in. Why doesn't USB just work? Why can't we just route things with a outside audio device? And then you got your third-party peripherals. You've got your, your audio controller, which also is USB plugged in. You can make sure it goes to the right PC, and then you got to daisy chain that shit.
And yet, despite all that, we are back. And thank you, everybody, for your patience. And I am sorry about that. I will remember that this headset needs retiring / a new cable. So twisted cable syndrome. It can get to you over time, but it's
only with the support of Twitch chat you could afford a new headset. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, guys. Drop those donations and also those Bezos bucks in the chat right now to support Pig on the channel.
And 50% of all donos until the end of today's broadcast still do add to the prize pool. So we could get it up to 7K. Personally, I think a lot of people are holding back from that because they like memes. They're like, no, 6,900 is a good number. But it is what it is. And I guess I could start talking about the game pretty soon before I get yelled at by Twitch chat. It looks like we're going to see a Graves build again.
Yeah, no, fuck Twitch chat. We'll just keep talking about stuff. Oh, Twilight Council spotted by the Zergling, by the way. Hello.
I'm almost like, is he gonna cancel that? You know, does it in plain view, but it's like, it's Trap, dude. No, I think he's just had it delayed long enough, so goes for that. Oh, he's gonna lose his probe as well.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty strong start for SERRAL. All things considered, he'd be very happy with this as a Zerg player in the beginning of a ZvP. Most Zergs would. Some Zergs would have a start like this and still be upset about the fact that they're playing against a Protoss, but those are what I like to call haters. SERRAL is not a hater. He's a professional.
Professional. He is indeed... SERRAL the professional, an assassin of Protoss players out there, but
great movie.
Having to work hard. Great movie. Yeah, I don't watch the long version of it though. Watch the original one, which they cut for American cinema. It takes out all the creepy parts. Yep. Yeah,
there is a little bit of creepiness in it, but I can promise you nothing happens. It's just implied.
Yep.
All right.
Well, Roachhorn. Speaking of Zerg vs Protoss, dodginess, Maynard, that's a Roachhorn in the second gas. He's gonna go Roaches. Moving on. SERRAL does do terrible things to Protoss players, but Trap has been staying very unpredictable in this series, and it feels like he's the one who is a little bit more, I think, not afraid of going down the same channel as that last game. In terms of saying, come on, man, I don't want to play a whole super long series. I want to get some momentum, look for some damage. He's chronoing a Prism. Now, this is an economic Glaive Adept. This is not a like Zaun style. I have 30 probes only, and I'm going to try and kill you with my first wave of Adepts. It's not as crazy as his 6-gate Adept from game 1. So we'll see exactly what happens as the Overlord spots that everything looks pretty normal. Stalker, though, does clean it up. And those 4 Adepts there, I like this. Very conservative. Really nice, kind of just use the shades to get out.
But on the other side of things, I do think that this is a pretty good response from SERRAL. He's respected this completely by cutting drones here at 39, and he's just backing a lot of units. It actually might be an overreaction from SERRAL as we're heading towards this phase of the game. As we do have Trap going towards tier 3 with the Robo. He's probing again as well. This isn't like you mentioned that. Oh, bit of a supply block here. But this isn't that super committed 6 gateway prism attack with the Adepts. SERRAL right at the edge of the creep there, ready to fight.
Ooh, watch out for the Biles.
And pulls the link dice from Biles. Nicely done.
Bile
Good control
does
from
hit
SERRAL.
on those Adepts. So that's
Well
actually
done
a
by
really
SERRAL.
good hold for SERRAL. Just keep in mind, though, his economy, you pointed it out, matey. He's only on 39 drones. Disruptors are coming out, so that could be an issue.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, we have a little bit of a hitch there, a little bit of glitch in the matrix on your end. It's good on my end, so I don't think the players felt it. You'll be happy to know.
Okay, that's good. The Adepts will shade on forwards there and trying to just chase off this. Now, you don't want to jump on that. That would be crazy. Yeah, Trap is crazy. Well, he's got 4 more behind. So with the Prism pickup micro, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, Prism definitely makes a big difference here with the Adepts being able to basically blink out of danger. And is that Prism speed coming down here with the Disruptors from Trap? My goodness.
Indeed it is. An extra disruptor. It's going to be 2 disruptors in the Warp Prism. And I do love that move. And this is back on his server preference, US West, as we are alternating between the two.
Central
so
and
he'll
West,
have a
right?
slightly better ping. Still really hard to pull off a hit, though, at this skill level.
Yeah. The Adepts will shave a few Lings off the edge of the pack there as the Lings disengage. Trap's 3rd Nexus quite a bit later than he would have liked if he was playing, you know, quote-unquote normally. That does still have quite a bit of firepower against the early game Zerg. And yeah, Trap, even going to catch a few more Lings there on the disengage from SERRAL. Main base here. Disrupt the drop, looking for those drones. Actually gets 2 Disruptor shots off, but actually kills 0 Queens. Only damages 4 of them.
Run! Well, at least it does get some mining time and, you know, some transfuse energy. Doesn't lose the units, which is the most important because Trap already has a Colossus on the way. He's not probing Maynard. Oh, this is a fake 3rd. It's a fake 3rd. SERRAL's still droning Maynard. This is going to be a giant push. He's warping in more Adepts on the front. He's moving forward. SERRAL spots the Stalker, and he immediately knows trouble's coming his way.
Yep, so SERRAL's starting to panic here a little bit, make those units. He's got some Overlords on the way to make sure that he can get as much unit cap out as he can. SERRAL needs maybe another 20 seconds or so to really solidify this position. But I don't think Trap's going to give it to him. He's going straight up the guts here with everything he's got. He's got Colossus in the army. He's got multiple Disruptors as well. And yeah, it's all about just slowing Trap down here for SERRAL to get more and more units out.
Oh, it's all about... Oh, he gets the Observer. That's very good.
Yeah,
Does deny a bit of the vision ahead of this army. Got to watch out for the Disruptors. They are everything. Notice Trap is not firing them. He's waiting for SERRAL to commit. He says, come and fight me. The moment you commit, that's when they're going to fire.
All right, the Adepts shading towards the natural here, trying to keep SERRAL distracted. Gets that looked like a Disruptor death there.
Yeah.
The drone's starting to die in droves, though, in the natural.
Ooh, okay, so 9, 10. Yeah, this is good damage, and it's all a distraction. He tries to shade back, but the Roach Ravager catches him. Losing that Disruptor was so unfortunate for Trap. That's a big issue for him. He's going to try and pick up and transition out of it.
Nope.
SERRAL doesn't have a massive worker advantage or anything, but remember, there was no probes on the 3rd during this, and that Colossus, uh-oh.
Yeah, I think Trap just doesn't have enough units anymore. Like, SERRAL's just got a much bigger army than Trap. He was very reliant on this very sort of weird strategy of Disruptor Prism with Prism speed. Gets a decent enough Nova there, kills a few of those Ravagers, but still just an insane army lead for SERRAL at the moment. And he's going to use it to his greatest advantage here by going for that counterattack. Oh! Okay, yeah, it's 3 more Roaches, but looks like SERRAL honestly can just disengage and drone back up if he wants to. But I would like to see him use this army to try and threaten that 3rd Nexus.
Yeah, it's always hard with Disruptors, but it's got such a big army that you kind of want to do it. I think SERRAL apparently very much respectful of the Disruptor. He's going to pull back, Blink on the way, Forge. not much probing for Trap, who he's trying to go to the next stage, but with a Hive on the way, I mean, that's going to be very quick Vipers. Once they're out, Trap is going to be in huge trouble. Abducts will ruin his Disruptors.
And Queen's once again damaged but not killed by that Disruptor. Takes 2 shots. And Serral's going towards Lurkers here. You see the Hive and the Hydra Den coming down. And that is something that Trap wants to avoid at all costs. Not let the game get to that phase. As he is on the back foot here a little bit. Again, like, economically, not great for SERRAL, but his army is just so much beefier at the moment. Nice army supply for Trap.
Yeah, and I always feel like, because he knows Trap is in such a kind of stunted position economically, he's not getting Templar anytime soon. I mean, don't get me wrong, SERRAL is banking so hard on Vipers and just going max of Roaches plus 2 or 3 Vipers, bam, take your big units out of your army, put them in my army, kill them, win the game. And, I mean, it's a little all in, but I think it's a game-winning move. I can't imagine Trap having what he needs to deal with it, unless he can kind of snipe off the Vipers with Blink Stalkers.
Oh, man. Pig, I'm going to let you cast for about 20 more seconds because I need to open my door because my dog is scratching it and it's just been painted.
No worries, mate. Loki gets excited. He says, get him, SERRAL. Get him. I love Zerg players. Oh, I hate when Protoss shoot those Disruptors at me. These are, of course, the live thoughts of Maynard's lovely dog, Loki, scratching at the door, barking, and having a bit of a wild time. The Prism Drop still sharking around the top left side. So he's going to see if he can find any pickups up there. Big thank you, everybody, for you know, welcoming and also helping us hire Maynard to come and join us for the final day. It's all because of the support you guys have given. Help unlock, increase the prize pool, as well as, of course, get him in here and unlock a bunch of other shows throughout the last week.
Wow, so what do we have for donations for this tournament?
I can't remember the total number, actually. I think we've got a command in chat that tells the total donations, but I'm sure Dot will hit that one up in there.
Wow. So, and the prize pool is how much?
So we're at $6,900 prize pool, and we hired you, and we got about 5 other days of crazy circus events where we made pro gamers do dumb shit.
Wow, so 6,900 prize pool, $16,500 donated. So I'm getting like 9 grand.
That is absolutely correct, Maynard.
That's
there
awesome.
with the maths.
Yeah,
I honestly didn't want to
Chad.
reveal your rate, dude, but I guess if you're okay with it.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys. You know, not that I was like, I don't really like PvZ, but now I feel a lot better about it.
Like, I love these lasers. Oh, look at these bitey units. I love the bugs and the space elves. They're so much fun.
I'm going to kill myself. Okay. But now that I'm getting 9 grand, I don't care if he makes a second Stargate. Heck, make a third Stargate. Make 8 Stargates. I love it. Yeah. All right. But I do it. I tell you what. In all seriousness, I am enjoying a bit of lurker play here for the Zerg. Getting to see one of the greatest units the Zerg have in their arsenal used as a ground pound
Trap!
Army. Whoa, good catch on those disruptors. In come the Novas though, back at the pack. The disruptor Novas, none of them connect. Thank you, Vipers. Oh,
Get over
that was
here.
a good fight for SERRAL. Very good fight for SERRAL. Yeah. Get over here.
And that Colossus goes down. The one Colossus
Nice.
from earlier in the game. Its field left broken and battered. The last vestige of the Protoss technology. It is now unupgraded carriers. Oh no, they've got +1 actually. How did Trap make this budget
Yeah, when
carrier
did that
transition happen? Like how? I saw him go for the Stargate in the Fleet Beacon. I didn't even talk about it because I was like, well, you can't actually afford carriers right now. He's actually got carriers. SERRAL doesn't have anything that shoots up.
What? Yeah, this is a... Oh, no, please. Don't tell me that 3 carriers win this game for Trap. SERRAL's been doing so well in this game. I mean, he has the lurkers again, but like you mentioned, they don't shoot up. He's got 23 Hydras on the way. I tell you what, they shoot up, and that's a lot of Hydras.
That is a lot of Hydras. It's not the most ideal unit, especially with Disruptors backing it up, but... You know, Viper, Abduct, into that will be huge. Lurker's starting to siege. SERRAL's economy is not gigantic, but it's good enough. I think at 70 drones there. Still got some Vipers active. Trap does have the 4th base up over there. He's got 3 Disruptors. He's adding a Templar Archives to help cover this. Lurker will go burrow in behind the base. It's so scary to make this carrier transition on such a low economy. But, okay, Army's still sharking around. Lurker's sieging. The one behind the base being very annoying. Needs detection right now.
That's a lot of the Hydras being used on charge lot defense duties here. SERRAL would love to have those in the front line with lurker support, just to siege down Trap's face. This army will be able to handle the charge lots, no problem.
Yeah,
Get it,
start a
mate.
step. we'll be able to take those down. The army coming forward. Watch out for the disruptors. Watch out for the Vipers even more so.
Yoink, 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 yoink. Oh, actually lost a few Hydras there for free. Good disruptor Nova for Trap. Still a lot more Hydras where that came from, though, and SERRAL definitely still a threat to that third Nexus. Looks like it might be going down. Yeah, that's not looking good for Trap on the defense.
Yep. Oh, he's going to go across the map. Okay, Trap here. High risk, high reward. When you're in a position that doesn't look good, you've got to take some high risk moves. So he's going to try and catch the Vipers on the way back with the Stalkers, then hit the Disruptors in the center of the Hydras. Carriers clean up the rest. Everything goes perfect. Trap makes a miraculous comeback. That's what's going on in his head. The reality, though, not so easy.
Yeah, he's going for this super high risk maneuvers here. It's like he's grabbing all of his life savings and going, yeah, I'm going to put it all in Shiba Inu.
Oh, yeah, a risky maneuver, but I think, you know, when you're at rock bottom already, as his opening did not work out for him, you know, why not? All in, Maynard. Everything on black. Give it another spin.
Yeah, he's not making money. Inflation's killing us all, guys. There we go. A split up from the army, and the third Nexus has gone down. And yeah, Trap with an army that's a little bit tricky to deal with, but as the game goes longer and longer, SERRAL gets more and more tools to the trade to be able to handle an army like that. So I do think that, you know, this game is heading more and more likely towards a SERRAL win at the moment, unless Trap gets an insanely good engagement, but I'm not sure how he gets that. I guess maybe good Disruptor Novas, like a really good connection on the Hydras, and not losing more next side. That is paramount.
Yeah.
Oh. Super lag.
I think that was me.
Is that me? Was it? Okay.
We pause, 30 seconds. All right, so I'm just going to swap the connection out on my gaming PC. I thought this connection would be a little better, but apologies, guys. It'll take us about 20 seconds to swap that. And
you know what I hope? Just to stay, like, consistent, that we have, like, a technical problem every single map.
Me too, man. You know what? The whole week was so smooth, and then starting, was it yesterday or the day before? It was like, it was like literally a fucking avalanche of like, oh my god. The number of things that have broken in the last 2 days is actually insane. I've never had so many things break on my stream in once.
Yeah, it's like people are like, when you play StarCraft, it's like you're spinning plates while riding a unicycle and doing so much at once and multitasking. Like, yeah, that is true, but also try running a broadcast. Especially when you've got, like, you know, you've added a commentator, so I'm complicating things.
Yeah, you're weighing down the broadcast, Maynard. It's taking up too much bandwidth. Your voice has too much density of bits, and ooh.
Oh, good catch there. Ooh, that's a lovely couple of ducks there. Getting the Disruptor, getting the Carrier. And while there are Stalkers here for Trap, they really are not a convincing unit in this matchup. So especially against this kind of army from SERRAL, like, you don't want Stalkers here. So this is just getting better and better, I feel, for the Zerg as he encroaches in the Protoss position. Another free Carrier. Why not two? Why not a Disruptor as well? Delicious dessert.
Okay, gonna do a desperate Stalker run by down the right side. Trap here refusing to die right now. And I've seen him do some heroic comebacks, some heroic kind of last stands before. But in this case, it's gonna look a little bit more like just the SERRAL slaughterhouse.
And there it is. And just like that, Trap had that 2-map score. He had that advantage. SERRAL rips it away from him, says, all right, now we're playing a best of 3.
We are going into map number 5 in the bottom right side. He is, of course, ENCE Esports Behemoth, the world champion of 2018, many other time champion as well. One of the most storied players who has, of course, hailed in the era of European dominance. This is SERRAL.
That is a heck of an introduction. In the top left, he's from Korea. He plays Protoss, and he has won that one tournament one time. This is Trap.
Gemini's a big fan of him.
Correct. Also objective truth.
I wanted to add a detail to jazz it up a bit. I hope you don't
just jazz it up. Yeah. Trap's a beast. He's been in so many finals that he kind of was like, we were always like, is he starting to become the Sue for Protoss? Like, he gets in the finals all the time, but always the bridesmaid, never the bride. But has started to, of course, win a few of those big tournaments, getting those big dollar bills, the hard work paying off for Trap.
I mean, when Trap's on point, I mean, there's not many Protoss that just dismantle Maru like he's nothing, you know. And
Right.
Trap can do that sometimes, like where he'll take down, you know. I've seen him smash Dark apart, right, and just make him look not that great as well. Obviously, it goes both ways with those guys. No one dominates Dark or Maru forever, you know. You beat him a series, they beat you a series. It's the fact that you dominate any series ever against those guys makes you a legend, and that is why we have so much respect for Trap and exactly what he can do in the game now. I kind of just wonder who has more endurance and patience, because I often feel like we do in the last 6 months, we've seen SERRAL sink back into that defensive late game style a bit more, and I feel like he can outpatience anybody. You look at his camera, he looks frustrated, he looks annoyed, he looks impatient, and you look at his play and it's the opposite. So I don't know if you can, you know, if Trap has the patience to engage him in the slow sort of games, which SERRAL, as much as he says he doesn't enjoy them, he plays them out perfectly.
Yeah, like, I mean, you can be good at something that you don't really like. That's that definitely has happened before. And SERRAL is definitely one of those guys that's so good at the later stages of the game. Stargate getting dropped here for Trap, so not going to try and go for any Twilight shenaniganry in this particular video game.
I do wonder if we see maybe another... No, just chronoing probes for now. I was going to say, I wonder if we see, like, you know, a bit of extra chrono on the Adepts or anything like that, but Trap going full economy here. Just chronoing those probes away. Stargate up front and center. And the Zergling's already working on the rocks. I do like that SERRAL's doing this. I think opening the rocks up on all these new maps are really important to give you a bit more access everywhere. There's these rocks kind of just obstructing pathways, and obviously Trap did open up the front of SERRAL's base. Front of his base still closed right now, but you open that up and it's not a bad ramp up the middle.
Yeah, quite right. Like the game, you can see that this map has a really short rush distance. If you break down these rocks, or the minerals rather, you can just basically you got a straight shot to your opponent's third base, and then the big natural ramp. Still getting used to these maps though. Like it's
Yeah.
You know, I'm not you know, playing on them right now, which is how you really learn the map very quickly. But have been watching, you know, the recent tournaments since, of course, Home Story Cup. I think was maybe the first one I saw on this map pool. Pretty sure that was the first one. But those games were sort of my first foray into looking at professional players playing the maps. It's like how Maynard plays the maps doesn't really fucking matter. How Trap and SERRAL play these maps is, you know, a lot more what I'm concerned about.
Well, it's going to be a Glaive Adept follow-up. Now, SERRAL, if he checks the third... Oh, he's on patrol. I don't know if he realizes, because honestly, I see that third timing from Trap. I think SERRAL immediately will know that it's Glaive Adepts. So this is the weakness with this build, is that if the Zerg sees the third timing is later than 4 minutes, they can kind of guess that this is one of the very likely options. And I do think SERRAL will have that read. He sees that third's not all that quick. So if he drops a Roach Warren in the next 10 seconds and an extra gas, then he's looking very pretty. Probably doesn't even need the extra gas. He's actually got 200 in the bank. So yes, it looks like a really good response from SERRAL.
Yeah, looks good on paper for sure. So the plan for Trap is relatively clear. Going to be the Glaive Adept pressure into a Void Ray. This is isn't this some kind of timing attack with the Voids and the Adepts at once?
Definitely could mix them in, but I think it's just you show that upgrade to convince them you're playing Sky Toss. And you still will maybe go double Stargate afterwards, right? You might do that. You might just go Colossus. Usually that's what Trap prefers. So you'd expect them to cancel +1, but I've honestly seen players do this where they just let it finish because they're so used to making +1 with most of their openings anyway. The Adepts are showing themselves 10 out, 4 more coming across the map behind it. Only 4 Roaches on the way, 3 more starting up. This feels like it's very late for SERRAL. The Evo Chamber wall, 100% necessary. Yeah,
a little bit of a bamboozle here for Trap. He's going to lose that Void Ray to the Queens. It does go down, but the Adepts is a bigger problem here for SERRAL. Third base getting evacuated. The drone's heading towards the natural now. But yeah, the third base completely owned by these Adepts at the moment. So there's a drone. There's an Adept for every drone here for Trap.
Oh, he's going to try and break down the Evo Chamber wall. There's Roaches behind that, though, and Broodlings will pop out of that. But once you open it, you can run back and shade through. Nice moves here from Trap. Does lose 2 more Adepts for that. And there's the roach count is growing, Maynard. Spy is already down. SERRAL is already thinking about the next step. He may be thinking a bit too far ahead. The Adepts are going to find some damage.
Yeah, these Adepts are still a pretty huge concern, but of course is going to have to worry about the Void Ray army that is no doubt on its way here as the second Stargate is just about to finish. The Adepts still finding so much damage. The third base is wide open here. More Adepts showing up, killing more drones. 14 have died.
He only built 10
very bad for
roaches.
SERRAL.
SERRAL got so greedy, Maynard. He was like, I've defended this. This is over. You know, I got my queens, I got my roaches. And as much as building drones lessens the damage of the drones, you know what's better? Not losing 16 or 18 drones to begin with. Oof. 17 workers do go down. I mean, it's not free for Trap, but at the same time, Trap has a fourth base on the way. He's up in workers.
Yeah,
he's building
huge.
3 Void Rays at a time. I mean, that is absolutely lovely damage for him.
Yeah, the Protoss is definitely, like, I think the technical term in esports broadcasting is wearing the daddy pants. Trap's absolutely in that position at the moment.
SERRAL
It's hard to
cancelled
rip
his
those
Spire.
daddy pants off. It's very, very hard to rip those pants off. Can the Spire do it here for SERRAL?
Yeah, you know, tight. Those jeans are high and tight, Maynard. They're very hard to pull off. But the Spy is being cancelled, so SERRAL's kind of gone back to just generic play here. Trap might not know that. He probably, he still sees that Spire on the minimap at least, so he might be thinking, oh, that's going to come up. Fleet Beacon does go down. The thing is, 3 Stargate Void Ray, I feel, doesn't care so much about mutants just because you've got that mobility. You know, you've got the ability to move around between the bases and kind of just keep up with it. Even though Void Rays aren't great, you're building so many of them, and you've got batteries and whatnot to help you out, so it's totally fine.
Spire getting rebuilt here for SERRAL, oddly enough. He cancelled it, started again, going for the Hive now as well as the Infestor. So he is going to play this game after all, like going up into the Corruptor, Viper, Infestor, regular super late game Zerg army. The Void Rays doing what they do best. Be annoying. They're just zapping on those queens there and getting out of there. Don't have Flux Veins, but, you know, still pretty quick on their base speed.
They just spiral around the map there the way they rotate, defying the laws of physics as some of the pieces aren't even touching each other. And and they go, lasers go brrr.
Always wondered how that works since Wings Liberty it's had the same model. But there's the Fuck Veins on the way now for the Void Rays.
That Adept got caught on the bottom by the Queen Surround. Adept's just shading around, being annoying. Not really finding any damage, but a good way to use those early game units to see if you can find something, stay a bit active. Now, SERRAL's economy has not been great. After that early stage, he was very kind of defensive, conservative. He's up to 80 drones now, but he just hit 80 drones. Trap has been up in the 70s for a little while already. And if we do see +2 start for Trap, I absolutely think he'll have the option of a big old carrier timing attack. Like +2, 6 carriers, and a bunch of Void Rays. He's adding charge behind this as well. Void Rays on the right side. Overlord sees it. Good positioning by SERRAL. And he even hides that Overlord, so they don't see it because it has longer vision than them. Overlord, one of the highest sight range in the game. He's going to look for the Fungal Queen combo.
Yeah, he's going to go for the scoop.
Says,
scoop and poop. Here we go.
Come on in.
Oh, Trap. Fast hands. Insta disengage. Oh, natural. We got a Ling Flood, I think.
Ooh.
Oh, no, Ling Roach.
Okay, damn.
Hello.
So I don't think it's going to be... look at SERRAL's camera after that whiffed fungal for a moment there, but
you know,
gets the Cybercore, denies the +2 that unfortunately wasn't upgrading. So Trap there, big brain, didn't start +2, which I was going on and on about, and because of that, saves it from the Roach Ling run by. Accident or 300 IQ on purpose choice, Maynard?
I'm just going to see where it lands, man. I don't even know. I can't even make that call. I'm not qualified.
Wow, we've got Raynor in chat weighing in and saying, nah, he absolutely misclicked it. Accident for sure. A few people in chat with different opinions there. Broodlords are now on the way. Bane speed as well. We've got Storm. More carriers coming out. Hit base going up for Trap. And no... How many spellcasters? 3 Vipers, 2 Infestors. Interesting. So not too many spellcasters for SERRAL. He's got good creep in the middle though. And Trap has a pretty nice army. He's about to hit that 6 carrier mark. Doesn't have many High Templar just yet. Just 3 of them for now. But we've seen Trap's ability to kind of open things up in these late game fights and do big damage. He's even got an Interceptor there attacking the rocks. Is that...
It'll be a minute.
Is that bugged out?
Yeah, I was like, how does it still there?
Yeah, I was like, how is only 1 from it as well. Did he throw one and then press stop, but one of them stayed there or something? Like, I don't know.
Potential exploit, question mark?
Oh, look at the
You'll have to
speedy
be a
zealot
nerd to
drop in
figure
the
it out.
top right.
Yeah, fast prism with the heading towards the
God, it's
3 o'clock
fast.
base here. Yeah, that is quick.
Imagine getting dropped out of that thing. Oof, you'd be so dizzy.
I think you get digitally supplanted by the.
Oh, is
war
it like a
prism.
3D printer? Does it just like
Yeah,
print?
I think it has like the information of the zealot inside of its prism hard drive, and it like 3D prints the zealot.
Oh,
Kind of like,
I like it.
you know, like a teleporter, I think.
Beam me up, Prism Scotty.
I don't know.
Well,
I might look like a Protoss, but I'm not a Protoss. I don't know. I'm acting like I know, but I have no idea. The roaches and the lynx disengaging here, finding a little bit of damage, and this is the real fight right now for Trap coming in with the big air army and also the High Templar underneath. Oh, wants to get a yoink.
combo.
Go for the yoink, grab a carrier. Yep, easy money.
Queens don't kill carriers very well normally, but with the abduct into the center, why not? Zealots on the top side, though, causing a bit of damage there. And the prism's in the back of the main. Oh, leave my greatest spire alone, says Serral.
Dude,
How many
Trap's
times?
killed the Greatest Spire 6 times in this series, and it's only been 5 maps, including this
Oh
one.
my god. Does clean up the base up there. Greatest Spire goes down. Trap here is going to try and recall some zealots. No, just pulls back behind the minerals to fight from a better angle, where the Zerglings are all a bit trapped, but they do get surrounded. Serral rebuilds 3 spires like the Chad that he is. A Greatest Spire on 1 and 2 other spires. A bit of redundancy. Now, at this point of the late game
Triple
meta,
spire.
we may need to bring back a move which Snoot invented back in the Swarm Host Stalemate meta of 2015, Maynard. I'm sure you remember.
I don't want to relive it. You know, I don't want to relive it.
Well, not only would he layer spores along the edges of his base, like we saw Serral doing in some games earlier, like on the very bottom of the map, he's got 3 spores in the bottom left, but he would also surround his spires in spine crawlers, so there was no surface area on them. So you had to break a literal surround of spines to kill his Greatest Spire. It was the only way to get at it. It was one of the most comical things, but it was actually surprisingly effective.
One of those things that works. It works, man. You know, you don't see too often anymore the Supermax. Well, actually, you don't see it at all.
Cancel 30 spore crawlers, build an extra 15 corruptors, you know.
Yeah. But you don't really need the drones to mine. Yeah, you don't really need the drones to mine, and it's like, why not just let the spores finish? Because no point in doing the cancel.
It is cool to supercharge that army. Of course, you know, you lose 25% of the spore cost, but it's not a bad move, and it's surprising we don't see it anymore. But I guess the games are just a bit more mobile. Like the Swarm Host meta was a lot slower, I think, than what we see here, right? This has actually got quite a bit of movement and action and spell casting. The games are long. Don't get me wrong, it's hard to kill each other, but there's constant fighting and pinpricks and spellcasting and maneuvers. So there's a lot more movement going on and kind of constantly looking for those angles. I love the way Serral stays active with Ling Bane Stasis Trap, though. Very annoying for him to deal with. Baneling's on the High Templar? Maybe? No.
And that would be amazing. Oh, stasis on these handful of Lings, but not the biggest of deals.
Observer in the middle of the map. Nice vision for Trap. Does see Broodlords when they're moving around from top to bottom. Trap already has a corner base with a lot of cannons established. Serral sees it with his 36 changelings. Very sneaky. Okay, so this Spore Crawler position looks good, but the Tempest will be able to chip away. Baneling's going into the mineral line. Get a bunch of cannons.
Yeah, it's getting the static D here, softening things up for the Roaches to do the rest. Okay, the Vipers and Corruptors looking for the big catch here, trying to get the yoinks on the carriers. Even grabbing a High Templar or 2 could be nice here, but would love to get those higher value targets with the Abducts, of course.
Units lost tab is slightly ahead for Serral, which, as we pointed out, it's very hard to avoid that situation. But often it's like you get a little behind, you get a bit further behind the units lost, you get a bit further behind, and then Trap crushes a big fight. That has been the pattern we've seen. We've seen a lot of these kind of big fights where he just crushes through and manages to catch Serral off guard, out of position. And you see things like these Spore Crawlers. They're so annoying for Trap to deal with, but he's picking away at them. He is clearing them in these games. It's just this game, ooh, nice abducts.
Yeah, gets himself an Oracle there. Getting rid of the Oracle is pretty fantastic because a lot of the thing that... What makes the Tempest good for Protoss, in fact, I would even say what makes them useful, because they really aren't without the extra vision. is the range from that Oracle Revelation tag. To be able to hit these spores and hit those Vipers and Infestors and whatever from the safety of, you know, over a dozen range.
Mama!
Oh. Ooh, I don't want to die.
But you're going to every single time.
You're a really shit unit. Oh, the mass transfuse. The hatchery stays alive.
Rapid fire band-aids, Maynard. Those mums have seen a couple of scraped knees before, a couple of crying children, and they just slapped like 60 band-aids on that hatchery all at once. Void Rays do get denied, and Mama went down as well, which is always pretty efficient for the Zerg player. You know what? Trap's denying the bottom left base, another hatchery kill. These do add up over time, keeping the creep back very nicely as well. And as you said, the Oracle's very important. They've been replaced. A Broodlord dies to the Void Rays. There's no spellcasters up there.
Unless you count the Queen. Queen's doing a great job of keeping the broods up.
Oh my god.
Transfuse spam.
What a funny battle. Without the Vipers to abduct or anything like that, it's kind of funny. Oh, Trap tries to recall the army, and SERRAL doesn't know about it. Broodlord's in the open, Maynard. Broodlord's in the open. Trap is not. He hesitates for a moment. He's letting them escape. You got to get on top of this, Trap. He will get a lot of these units on the retreat. Very nicely done. Look at that Tempest focus fire. The Broodlords are falling so quickly.
They are indeed. Oracle zigs when she should have zagged there. Goes down to some of that static defense and the Corruptors. It'd be nice to get those tags, but that's splitting hairs here as Trap is still looking quite decent in this position. SERRAL coming in for a bit of a hug on those Ultras. He wants those High Templar. The Ultras are diving. They're going for the items. They do kill a couple of them there. 2 or 3 of them died. The Void Ray count still looking decent.
Parasitic Bomb, but it was a good split this time from Trap. He's still got a lot of Void Rays. 8 and the 5 carriers, 3 Tempests. There's too many spores though. He's getting a bit ahead of himself. Oh, his High Templar are way out on the left side of this. They're not with the army right now. But wait, maybe he lands the storms anyway. The Corruptors actually run into the High Templar.
Oh man, that second storm on the left was so sick. It was just a YOLO storm there because they were rallied in, and unfortunately for Trap, well, unfortunately for SERRAL, they got a lot of splash damage on those Corruptors. Man.
Ooh. And Mama's going to arrive. She's been rebuilt, resummoned. The carriers and Void Rays fighting. The Ultras fighting the Stalkers. The Stalkers blinking back. Corruptors taking down some of these units. But this is a disaster for SERRAL. It looked like he had so many spores behind this that it was guaranteed to be a good defense. But those flanking High Templar, which I swear was an accident from Trap, but it pays off huge.
Oh, it was deliberate, mate. Come on, 100%. Trap would never make a mistake like that. He's a professional player.
It was a bizarre move, and whichever way you cut it, it was huge. It was massive. The Stalker's coming in for the momentum, the tempo play. SERRAL's out of minerals right now, so he's not able to properly rebuild. He does get Mama out of there. Well worth a Viper if he can confirm.
Take that time warp, bitch. What do you do with a time warp? I mean, you cast a spell before it dies, I guess, but it makes zero difference.
You can take me, but I'll put a slow bubble on the ground before I go.
How about that 50% movement speed, huh? Idiot.
You think you won? Nuh-uh.
Well, you think you're gonna win this game? I don't think so.
The Stalker's getting cornered. This is actually pretty good for SERRAL, I think. Cleaning up all these units. I mean, Trap kind of wants to replace them with better units, but still feels a little wasteful whenever those Stalkers go in like that. The units lost a bit ahead for Trap, who's mined out, or is actively mining out the top right. I do have to be critical. Trap never fully saturated the minerals in the top right, and it is exceptionally important to always saturate your most exposed bases first. Something pretty much almost no pro gamer ever does. Stalkers are going to get surrounded here. Ultra Ling going to go ahead and chase this down. If SERRAL can... He's going to need a new base soon, dude. His income's okay for now, but, I mean, the mineral patches are not looking too healthy. So he's going to have to slowly crawl out to a new base, and it looks like with the momentum, Trap should be able to mine out more of the map than him.
Yeah, I just don't know where SERRAL goes for his next base. Where do you take his sixth here now that Trap's got top right pretty locked down? The Stargate army's really close to it as well. And then you look over at like the 8 o'clock position, and it's like maybe we can wrestle this position back. But again, we're neighbors with the Protoss and in a position where he can recall down there. Mothership, once that's out, has the second recall timer, so you have 2 recalls in the bag if you need. It's usually used aggressively though. You don't see it too often.
Mic on. Charging battery.
I have to assume that your headset has
And
once
we're
again.
back.
Okay, there it is.
Yep. It's a good one. What can I say, Manny?
Good headset.
We'll
Guys, if you could donate for a new headset for Pig, the guy's strapped for cash. I mean, he had a subathon earlier. It was like, you got to give half of it to the tax man. It wasn't that much, all right? So get him a headset. Let's help him out. Oh, good abducts on those carriers.
Very nice abducts. Yeah, so he's actually going to fight for this base while just denying the bottom left. This is a ballsy move from SERRAL. I thought he would take the bottom left and then just deny his 6th base area up there. Oh, Void Ray punish.
Yeah, it's going to get that south base there. At least SERRAL is going to get rid of bottom left, and the Voids might get an Ultra on the way back just to make sure it wasn't for free. Oh, no, never mind. They were on movement on there. Oh, actually, in fact, the Hunter has become the Hunted. It's a lot of Corruptors here. That to have +3 too. The aggressive recall, bringing all the boys to the yard. Can Trap break this position? If he can get all the Broods and the Vipers, this is GG.
Oh my god. The Brood Lords are trying to get back, but they need all the support. The whole army needs to get here. If they can get rid of the High Templar, then the Broods can at least do their job. One High Templar has fallen back, and it could come back in here with a lot of Storm, but the Void Rays have fallen.
Void Rays are down, which means the Corruptors become very, very good again. Can easily take down the carriers if they don't have Void Ray support. The Stalker's technically a response to the Corruptors, but not a super convincing one. It's not like we got Archons here to really work with. Also, where are the Archons? Bit weird to not have any, I suppose, but is it more important, I suppose, to have those Storms ready for the High Templar?
Yeah, he's playing very light on the ground. It's been like, hey, I have a few High Templar, and that's it. And it's kind of surprising that SERRAL hasn't more consistently had Ultras on the ground to just roll over and kill the High Templar. Because if they're not protected by anything, Ultras have a free pass to just roll in. And Ultras take a very long time for carriers to kill. Void Rays don't kill them all that quickly. So definitely leading the charge with maybe 3 Ultralisks, I think would be very powerful against a Trap who has not been building any Immortals or Archons in his composition. So he's got no barrier to protect those High Templar. But SERRAL's so Broodlord focused that he's relying on a unit which the Tempest is outranging and picking off from afar.
Yeah, and once again, with the tags coming down, the Tempests continue to be annoying here for SERRAL to deal with. They're going to continue to do chip damage. Ultras and Lings is trying to do something in the bottom left, but once again, Trap just cancels that pile and says, yeah, no worries, all good. Not really, doesn't really need a super response here. This is the part of the army that needs a big response from Trap, which is why most of these resources are at the north side of the map here. In come the High Templar with a Storm on each one of them here. Oh, we'd love to get a fungal on that pack. Gets one of the High Templars tagged. No feedbacks yet from Trap.
Oh, very good.
This high ground position, very annoying. Trap doesn't have high ground vision on these spellcasters, so he can't get those feedbacks.
Oh, very nice yoink. And a few more fungals on the High Templar would take them down. Great micro base. So another carrier and another. Oh, great trades for SERRAL.
Yeah, and a whiff Storm as well from Trap. That's what SERRAL needs here. He's got to keep taking trades like that. He is losing the bottom base, but if SERRAL wins the top north side, and if he keeps cutting into the army supply of the Protoss by getting those really expensive, important late game units, then you know, it can be worth it.
Trap can up the ante though. Trap has a 10,000 bank redundancy essentially, so he's got so much money. Yeah, he's going to try and take the bottom left. He's mined out most of this top right. This is what I said is why he should have mined out the minerals fully, because the minerals could be almost completely gone in the top right if he'd done that. As it is, SERRAL might be able to take that base and get some of the mining. There's still quite a bit of gas left on one of those guys. Is Burrowed Zergling in the bottom left doing the Lord's work for SERRAL. But SERRAL's getting time to bank up a little bit of resources. He's mining this single base. Of course, if he can deny the top right and just kind of regrow, it looks like SERRAL is back in this game. And remember the weakness in the previous games was when he had like 20 Corruptors, 15 Corruptors. This time he has 31. So his army is actually really suited to counter Trap.
All right, Yoink on the Prism gets the Oracle as well. Killing the Oracle, very, very nice. So it helps him out against the Tempest, but there's not that many Tempests now. It's really about the Void Ray fleet and the Carrier fleet here. And there are some spells available on these Vipers. Oh, SERRAL taking a little bit to start the engagement here. I think maybe he wasn't looking at his army for a second.
Yeah.
Gets the mothership. Have a fucking time warp, SERRAL. Oh, it's because of an invisible man.
One invisible man, dude, causing big troubles up there. Okay. Oh, he's looking for Tempest. Gets one. Gets a carrier. He's got to be careful not to cop any storms, and so far, Serral's doing a great job of avoiding them. Yet another very strange fungal for Serral. He's shown a threw of those out today, and I mean, that's not latency, guys. When you miss a fungal by that much, that's Serral just getting a little bit panicked and misclicking a little bit.
We're on Central, which obviously isn't the best ping for Serral, but it is his server preference. So you would think if he was going to land fungals, it would be on this server, but.
Oh, I mean, when you miss by that far, that's just like, oh, no way.
That's a swing and a miss.
Yeah. Oh, Baneling's in the mineral line. Gets a few of them. Okay, this is good. He's going to deny the base. That denies about, I think there's 1,500 gas in the top right. Yeah, 400 on one, 1,000 on the other geyser. So there's about 1,500 gas in the top right still. If SERRAL makes this comeback from being down 30 supply, down 10,000 bank, it would be incredible, but Trap needs to clear this ground. Where's it? He's got an observer in there. He's got to clear all this creep. Honestly, he's got to remove the map vision of SERRAL and start just swinging in with his bank. He's got so much money, does Trap. Throw your probes away and get in there. Keep up the ante. Keep the fights going. Because right now, it feels like these last few minutes have gone way back in SERRAL's favor. He was a little behind in the units lost earlier. Now he's up 4,000 resources in the units lost tab. And don't get me wrong, he's still pretty damn broke. But, I mean, as long as the trades are this good, Trap is giving him time to recover the bank disadvantage. And, I mean, yeah, Trap's mining the bottom left, which is kind of nice, but does feel like SERRAL is slowly getting himself back into a playable position.
Yeah, like, does Trap need more money here? The gas is important for sure, but, like, what do we do with the minerals? I guess dropping static defense. So 5 shield batteries at once. We got an Immortal on the way. Maybe just like he feels like he needs that against the Ultras, which are definitely something that SERRAL's been peppering into his army here and there. I like this wall off of shield batteries as well. It makes it harder for the Zerg to actually breach it with something like Ultras.
Yeah, the more buildings there, it's an obstacle. Obviously, doesn't want to have everything too clumped because of Banelings, but still just anything to slow down those advances. And the Corruptor Viper looking for these Void Rays in the bottom left. The Lingbane will run in with the Ultras, and the Void Ray Corruptor joining up. SERRAL with a very nice attack.
Ooh.
Where are the abducts?
Yeah, and the Void Rays, without the support of the big units there, the motherships and the carriers not here as well. And SERRAL even breaks off a couple Corruptors, thinking that he's got this. And he may just be right as he leaves a few of those melee units, sending the bulk of his army up to the top right, where the Nexus has gone down. That position has gone down for Trap. But SERRAL really wants a good fight with that main army of Trap up here to the north side. Like, yes, Trap has a massive bank, but if SERRAL gets a really decisive fight, he can just, like, wash over Trap and take a couple bases down before Trap gets an army back up with that bank to replenish. Like, how many Stargates is he on? Like, how quick could he remax?
He does have 6 Stargates. He builds a lot of production, but it'll take a while still. Carriers, Tempest take a long time to rebuild, and it's also not a bank that he can instantly rebuild off, right? 5,000 3K. It's getting worn down. SERRAL's being so much more efficient, and in the long, slow, patient game, SERRAL, his patience so good. Oh, okay, one Infestor.
Nova gets a couple Infestors. Good feedbacks there from Trap, though. Fungal goes down on the Void Ray, softens them down. Looks like the Disruptors are getting pushed back by the Broodlings. Now they're ready to fight again. Looking to try and get those connections on the Infestors, rather. In come the Corruptors on the right side. And Tempest getting separated from the pack. The Carriers also separated from the pack a little bit. The Void Ray count getting really thinned out here. SERRAL's Corruptor count, very scary. He can start to one-shot Carriers here, and he's doing exactly that.
Oh, there's no storm. He needed to pull back. Trap, what is he doing fighting out here? He should have pulled back behind the cannons. The moment all of his High Templar got hit by Fungal Broodlord, he had to get out of there. He even had that Time Warp, which really slowed down SERRAL from jumping on him. But as I said, patience is going to come in crucial when you're dealing with a guy like SERRAL, who is just this immovable object. He's one of those bloody Treebeard people out of Lord of the Rings, dude. He might take a while to get there, but in the end, he is a giant oaken bastard that is so hard to chop down.
He is an Ent, and Entish is how I would describe this kind of PBZ. And it takes a long time to play anything in Entish.
But dude, the comeback! He might actually be able to kill.
Incredible fight.
If he keeps up this, he might be able to get to 69,000 resources killed, and he's still in the 40,000s. 47 to 61. The efficiency in the last 5 minutes of this game, it felt like Trap had him just up against the wall, but what happened was SERRAL pulled up into his corner, pulled up his shield, and then Trap kind of went, I can't get through here. And he didn't see what we see. He didn't know that SERRAL was so out of money. SERRAL was completely broke, barely had 1 base mining, and yet you know what? SERRAL just hangs on. He fights back efficiently. Oh, he gets the High Templar.
Oh, what's up, High Templar? Welcome to Dead. He actually killed all 3 of them there. Sick. Very worth for SERRAL. You know, I mentioned it before, and I'll say it again. Like this is the kind of army for SERRAL that if he wins that top right position, which he absolutely did, he can snowball. Now he can punish Trap. Now he can kill more Nexi. He could even potentially just win the game right here by diving and picking off a few of these reinforcement units, getting some yoinks of the Void Rays, but really doesn't want to lose too many.
Parasitic Bomb would be a very good idea. I don't know why it's taken so long to throw it out.
So many voids.
Where's the fungal? Oh, big fungal parasitic bomb combo. I think he can turn and kill the entire army now.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, the Void Rays are really softened up here. The Fungals did their job. Parasitics, rather, did their job. And now the Corruptors are on the chase. And the Void Rays, they have the map to move through, but...
Dude, he's letting him join more Void Rays. SERRAL took way too long to drop Parasitic Bomb in that retreat. He had full energy Vipers running away the whole time. He took way too long. He only landed 1 at the last second, and his Fungals were late as well. SERRAL missing the opportunity to do it, and now Trap, what is he doing? He's getting in between his rallies, mate.
Oh my god. The Void Rays are going up the guts here, and yes, if they can cut off the rallies, it'd be very similar to that game, it was 2 games ago, where Trap managed to, there was 24 Corruptors on the way, but Trap managed to cut them off before they joined up with the pack by getting in between the hatcheries, in between the rally points.
Oh, dude, this is actually wild.
He's going to kill the Hive, that means no more Vipers. He's killed the Spawning Pool, which means no more, hasn't killed the Spawning Pool, excuse me, but that means no more Spores if he does get it. And that Zilla harassment to the north side was a little bit annoying for SERRAL to have to deal with as well. He does not want to have to waste resources and attention at dealing with charge lot run bys here when he has this to deal with.
You know, we hear about those from rags to riches stories may not. I think this is going to be a riches to rags as this game goes, because the bottom left will mine out in a couple of minutes. Trap does have the fresher base there, plenty of gas. Actually, he's got quite a few minerals there as well. SERRAL's still got these 2 bases in the top right, though. So they've both got maybe 5,000 resources left, maybe a bit more than that in total that they can mine. But I don't know, it feels like that they're going to be replacing it with more and more kind of basic units, right? We've already got Zealots coming in large numbers, lots of Queens being added in for SERRAL, because the gas count is getting so low for both of them.
Yeah. Now, a lot of charge lots is actually something that SERRAL really can't deal with. What are his anti-charge lot countermeasures here? There's the Lings. There's a handful of Queens. Broods, I guess, but Broods really don't want to have to chase them down. That's the 7th greatest Spire to die in the series so far.
Dude, this is actually crazy because SERRAL can't build good units no more. He can't build anything, really. He's got a spawning pool that rebuilt. He can slowly make a lair, but... the production is intact for Trap, and once... I mean, it's crazy that SERRAL got back in this game. But yeah, he did not land the spells on the Mass Void Ray. Mass Void Ray is countered super hard by spells, and SERRAL didn't land them good enough. And once they got on top of the Brood Lords, you can't retreat. You have to turn and fight. And suddenly Trap is back in the lead. I mean, this has been such a seesaw with both players gaining advantages, the other player tearing it back, and then the first guy getting it back again. It's so odd to see it just get dragged down into these muddy waters time and again. The player who wins the first big fight does not necessarily win the game, and it's probably going to come down to one last giant battle. Mass Stalker, Maynard?
I mean, I don't know about the Mass Stalker, but I was going to say that I kind of liked Trap's position in this game versus Serral still, because he's completely mined out that base that Serral's now destroying. Like the assimilators are mined out, and the gas is the most important thing there for Trap. Bottom left is still pretty healthy, and the one above that still has a little bit working with it as well, as far as minerals are concerned. So that's about to run out. SERRAL actually isn't mining really at all at the moment. He's mining a little bit of gas. This is it. The space that you're looking at right now is basically where he's mining from. The north side does not have a whole lot left at all.
So we've got 1,200 gas plus 300, 1,500 gas to mine for SERRAL, and maybe 2,500, 3,000 minerals across all two bases.
Something like that. Yeah.
But the thing is, he's rebuilding his tech with like a lot of that money anyway. So Trap doesn't have to do that. And Trap has made a sneaky swap into a Mass Stalker army, which is hidden. And the whole thing is you actually need more infestors. And like, I don't know if you have enough Broodlords to fight this. Because the crazy thing is the Voids wreck Corruptors. So he's going to be so focused on dropping spells on the Void Rays just to survive. And the Stalker's just going to jump in and overwhelm him, I think.
Oh, the Void Rays, this is very ballsy from Trap to separate these Voids. Oh, Stalker's coming in for the big attack.
Oh, he gets two
a brood.
broods.
Yeah, very nice. Lings come forward, but that is not enough Lings. In come the Void Ray, the majority of the Voiders getting the big Parasitic Bomb. They are so stacked up. They're taking a ton of splash damage right now.
Oh, this is wild. The Void Rays will lose. The fungals are so big. Oh my god. The crazy swap into Stalkers from Trap. Such a gamble. And it doesn't pay off. It was such a gamble. I was like, oh, it's kind of genius. But then he didn't really surprise him with it, and both armies just got ripped apart. What the hell is going on? They keep giving up their leads. They keep screaming and just taking it back off each other. The Queen's hanging on. Is he trying to kill the buildings? He's clicking on the lairs. Trap is trying to win through a base trade.
He's a believer, and I respect that. But I think this is going to be SERRAL's game. Trap had this game in the bag, I feel like twice. But so did SERRAL. And as the dust settles, he finally has landed this incredible Game 5 on the bow. That was a lot harder than it had to be for SERRAL's victory there. But you know, both players are kind of dragging each other down into a bit of a mud wrestle. This hasn't been the cleanest series and the cleanest StarCraft games from either of these players. But it is, you know, it's scrappy. It's entertaining. Up left here on Pride of Altaris. Currently down in the series. Oh my god. This is Trap.
So because the players wanted to go straight into game, I didn't get a chance to fix the headset, but that's okay, guys. The mic is on, battery's charging, and this in the bottom right is SERRAL. Hi-yo.
Hi-yo. Whoa, Logic, how you doing, man? He comes in with this hot fire. He's like, Maynard alone for 20 seconds turns gay and starts hitting on us. First of all right, it's 2021. Who gives a shit if I am or aren't? And second of all, we are all a little bit. Everyone is. And if you say you're not, you're in denial. All right? It's just the percentage.
Yeah.
Are you 10% gay? 15%? 30%? 40%? And it doesn't matter what the number is. Point is, it's there. All right? Wake up, sheeple.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Maynard. Could not agree with you more. And I gotta say, though, both of these players maybe not so gay and merry after some grueling, long games.
Yeah, I don't think Trap's feeling gay after that last game.
Yeah, I mean,
He's probably pretty upset, to be honest.
What a roller coaster, man. I mean, they definitely made it unpredictable for us watching it, the viewers. We saw Trap get way ahead. We saw SERRAL somehow claw his way back through 10 minutes of efficient engagements and then literally get rolled by a mass Void Ray charge. Like, Trap literally said, you know what? He's got all the machine guns, all the artillery. He's got the aircraft, the tanks. How about we just get on our horses and charge them? That's like kind of what a mass Void Ray, just do a big spread and attack is. And it worked. It did a lot of damage, got him back ahead. And then in the end, the Stalker swap, though, was just a wild choice. And SERRAL with the perfect fungal hold on the ramp, the you know, defending the Stalkers, the Corruptor Viper ambushing the Void Rays in the top, and Trap went for a rather cheeky finish. It looked like he was maybe trying to base trade from the start, where the idea was, hey, ground army distracts and Void Rays just snipe all your buildings down, but SERRAL with such great awareness, not getting caught by any of these cheeky tricks.
This is a lovely pervert pillar there for that Overlord, getting a great look off the natural, seeing absolutely everything. And the Stargate is in the main, which I think SERRAL's confirmed, but you kind of confirm it by seeing the Cybercore anyway and the lack of Warp Gate for a while. You don't need to see it to know when you're when you're a god like SERRAL.
I'll occasionally see someone not start Warp Gate and then do a Twilight build, you know, the super mind game, but it's pretty rare because if you're doing, say, a quick Adept or DT timing, you need your Warp Gate on time to make it a nice tight build order, so it becomes a real forehead, you know, super big brain mind game at that point where you're kind of giving up some efficiency, you're tricking your opponent. To stitch that together takes some real expert skill.
Mm-hmm. Now, Void Ray first here to get rid of the OVs, and the Oracle coming up next here for Trap. Now, this doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to go ground pound, but it'll, like, you know, transition into a ground army. But this is, I guess, the way to play, you know, your regular sort of three base, expand and get that Forge and Twilight Council and go into a ground army for Protoss. Very, very common to open a void ray. One void ray. I'm trying to give chat some hopium right now. One void ray doesn't necessarily mean second Stargate, multiple void rays. It's very common to open with that now to get rid of the overlord.
Yeah. Well, there's actually the gas is going down now, so it does look like that. But there's still transitions into ground. Remember when he did this on Blackburn, right? I know that game went long, but he went pretty heavy on the Zealot Archon into the in the disruptors. He just didn't find any damage, but. Especially if SERRAL goes for the 4th base on the gold, we've seen that Trap loves to push that from the high ground through the destructible rocks and just kind of poke at that base. And that got him a lot of success earlier on in this tournament. So we'll see if he repeats that same pattern.
Forge and Twilight Council coming down here. All right. We do have +1 coming on the Void Rays though. I mean, this could be a bamboozle on the Void Ray upgrade, but it also could just be useful and very, very real. And you let that finish. It's not expensive. It's 100-100. That's like perfectly affordable and definitely useful later when you go into multiple Stargates, or if when/if you go into multiple Stargates.
Indeed, Maynard. We're just gonna have to take a very quick break for 1 second to fix some audio.
Oh.
Mic off. Charging battery.
And we should be back.
All right. Once again, chat, get those donos in for the new headset fund for Pig.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Apologies, we're having literally everything break in the last 2 days, so we're going to fix that after this series. That's just, haven't had a lot of time in between these games, obviously on a bit of a schedule. And definitely a situation where, luckily we won't have to flip a coin or anything, but hopefully we can get Raynor to do his vetoes straight away with Max Pack, so they're ready to go once we finish this. So him being the highest seed will pick who vetoes first, so hopefully my lovely producer here, Dot, can send him a DM and get him to get that process started, just so we can make sure we can get the finals in before these players have to get to any important qualifiers later today.
Chat, inhale that hopium. Charge, +1 attack, Prism, Templar Archives coming down. We're not... It isn't real.
Mic on. Charging battery.
We are going to have a ground pound. A big old charge lot Archon High Templar army here. Lots of gateways finishing up for Trap as well.
Indeed. Zergling's there as well. Sorry guys, don't want to pause this, so apologies to the interruptions in the production. If it happens one more time, we'll just pause the game in the middle and screw up the experience for the players. I'm super tilted at this point. Apologies to keep cutting off Maynard there, as we're just going to make sure we stop knocking that cable, hopefully, which I keep doing myself, shifting in my chair, and apparently we've got a twitchy cable, and it gets knocked slightly, and it disconnects and reconnects, so sorry about that, guys.
It's all good, man. So the Revelation's coming in as the... Yeah, big ol' attack with the charge lots. The Archons on the back end as well. And SERRAL's got a lot of Queens. He's got Spores. He's definitely expecting air units here. But with 15 Roaches on the way, if they can all get here, he can fight this back. But they all need to get out, and they need to be out now.
He's not ready, man. He needs... No, I think he's going to lose all of his Queens. And then the Roaches just don't get together. This was a 1 Stargate timing. Just, it made it look exactly the same as a normal one, but a massive Zealot Archon attack for Trap. And it seems to have done the damage. That being said, Roaches are holding the line in the natural. That 3rd base, though, every drone will go down there. SERRAL has a very big worker lead, but it's disappearing quickly. That worker lead will not survive. Drones huddling in the corner there, trying to survive the notice. The Roaches pulling back, but those Archons are just way too tanky.
GG. An 8-minute game. I could get used to this. We've got a good series here, guys. We've got a game 7 and a best of 7. And that means that we got 2 closely matched players. You got plenty of StarCraft action. And in the top right, looking for that satisfaction from a freak of freaks. This is Trap.
And his opponent in the bottom left side, representing Enter Esports, the Finnish beast. It is, of course, Darth SERRAL.
By the way, lol Lord Canty, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the pig pan.
we can do the shout outs later, but thank you for your generosity.
No, I'm doing them now. Doing them now.
This
it's
is what happens.
PVC. It's the probe. The probe's blocking the hatchery. Oh my god!
Does spot the hatch from the high ground, dude. Honestly though, bit of a big commitment for Trap in the last game, but you know what? It's been 3 games each, and this is where SERRAL winning the coin toss comes in, because the final map does end up on his server, Central US server. Gonna give him about a 20 AMS less ping, about 20 ping more for Trap. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it does add up. Obviously varies a bit player to player. Could be underestimating that. Might be at 40 per player. But definitely going to be a situation which could play to his advantage. Now, Trap, I think after Berlin grad, I sense he does not want to just go to late game. But after the last game, I mean, what's been working for him has been do a bit of a push, then play a macro late game. Do a bit of a push, then do a Void Ray macro late game, right?
Yeah, like either Adepts or the weird Disruptor thing that he did one game as well, and then going back to the Void Ray. Yep, it was a lot of those games. And by a lot, I mean 2. But I can remember.
Yeah, well, you know, SERRAL, of course, himself knows as the defender, there's a lot of things he's got to watch out for, kind of talking to himself a little bit, kind of rocking back and forth a little bit. He's going, okay, don't get surprised by any more cheeky bullshit moves. We've got to scout. We've got to double check what's happening. And, you know, it was actually Raynor is in the chat. And the moment he saw there was no second Stargate, and instead of Twilight and a Forge, he was like, it's a timing attack. He's going to try and kill him.
Yeah.
And I was like,
he unqueued that league game as soon as he saw the timing attack come through. He's about to queue it.
Of course, Raynor versus MaxPax in the other semifinals. Going to be next up right after this one, guys. And I think those are 2 players who may try to kill each other quite a bit. Of course, MaxPax prone to go Skytoss himself, but big on timing attacks with the Skytoss. If you ever see someone charge +2 carrier and Void Ray into someone, whew, tasty. It's a powerful move, man. MaxPax, I think, one of the more timing attack oriented Skytoss players out there.
Yeah, definitely a different breed of Protoss than Trap here. It's the legendary MaxPax. Of course, we've learned that you being a fan of him doesn't matter to him at all. If you cheer for him, it doesn't help, so don't bother. And winning feels okay.
I'm just so happy we've started to get some interviews with young Maximus.
Yeah.
Hear the voice, start to get a feel for him as a character within the scene, and there's already so much lore, you know, fan fiction, I guess you should call it. It's not real lore because no one really knows, but lots of fan fiction about him potentially being a prince or an AI. Some people have said it's an Alpha Star, that someone smuggled out some of the code, and
it honestly might still be Alpha Star after that interview. I'm not convinced. Void Ray getting a creep tumor there. Yeah, good pick off.
It's always satisfying when you get it just before it finishes. And the Oracle's going to go down the right side at the same time. Second Stargate is on the way to follow it up this time around. And SERRAL equal on workers with his opponent. Will he be able to defend the Oracle? Only one queen here.
Yeah, Oracle looking for some drones here. Yeah, good micro back on those drones. And actually doesn't get anything. Good defense from SERRAL.
Yeah, I've talked a bit about how, like, you know, PvZ is... Against normal Zergs, you're actually... You don't realize it, but you're in a discount store. There's half-price Zerglings and drones to be killed everywhere. Overlord's just sticking out for your Void Ray to munch on. Against SERRAL, it is the most tight-ass rich person store ever. Like, you have to pay so much money if you want even 1 or 2 drones in the early game. You need to put so much attention into your Oracles and Adepts. He's just so tight on those openings, and it can be frustrating as a Protoss. If you're used to killing 3 or 4 workers, picking off a couple of Zerglings, and then suddenly you don't have that damage, it makes it a little more frightening going into the next stage.
Oh, Robo and Forge coming down here for Trap. That's not a second Stargate. Oh, there's a second Stargate. Never mind. We got the 2 Void Rays at a time here. 2,000 atmospheres as well. Now, I remember that this is a map that can get split map in this matchup. It's not quite
I like it when it goes
but it's
left, right as well sometimes, right? Sometimes it's not even diagonal the way you'd expect, but you're like, oh, I take the left, you take the right. Okay.
Yep. Good stuff. Love it. More and more drones in the way for SERRAL to get up to the Alair team. It's going to go up to tier 2. And go in that like is it just objectively worse? This is a question for me. Is like I'm not anywhere near as good a player as you are. Is it just objectively worse to try and go for the Hydralisk response against something like this? I know that Zergs were playing with that for a while, but it seems like every Zerg now reacts with Spire, and I have to assume that's just because it's better.
The thing is, the way the Protoss are playing, they get so much cannon battery if they see you go Hydras, and they drop a Robobait immediately and just add disruptors. And if you go Hydras and you attack into cannon battery disruptor with the Void Rays there overhead enough, you very quickly learn to not do that anymore. You get traumatized and you're like, oh man, like the Protoss will eventually get a 4th up. He will beat you back for a while. And it will get harder and harder to close it out. So it's one of these things where the Protoss is so active scouting, it's hard to hide that sort of thing. Lambo showed us a fantastic Queen Roach Hydra timing with like almost 80 drones on Hardwire. And that was, I think that might have actually been against Trap. It was a very close game. It was really close to breaking the Protoss player and just barely held on. So there's still some cute Hydra timings out there, but playing like just straight up Hydra Bane seems to just be something we don't see so much anymore. And I think it's just due to the fact that the bases are quite defensible. If we, have a few more super spread out bases, wide open areas, Hydra Bane might come back.
The Overseer, even with the speed, is not really able to get a confirmation on what's happening in the main base here of Trap. But, I mean, we can see it. It's a whole lot of Stargate units. We've got the 3 carriers that once be made, disruptors for support on those carriers, and the gateways kicking in as well. So about that time for Trap to start heading towards the support for the air army. Usually it's, disruptors is one of them, but you want to have High Templar. You want to drop their Templar archives and get some storms down as well as Archons if needed as well. It's incredibly important to have that support. Otherwise, the Zerg can just unmask Corruptors and not get punished for it, I should say, and also feedbacks, incredible utility in those units, but I haven't seen them yet from Trap. He's actually still just concerned about the disruptor for splash damage and getting the carry count as high as possible.
Yeah, so many gateways with no Twilight Council is, I think, a little bit of a mistake, Maynard.
Yeah.
I think we might see a slow Zealot run by and then charge kick up, That's often the moment when you realize.
Yeah. There's not too many slow charge lot run bys that are deliberate, chat. As much as you would like to say it is. Oh, one way coming down for the melee. I like the melee upgrade still here for the Ling Bane. It is very, very good at breaking through static Diva.
Oh, no way. Wait, is he going to go with mass unupgraded Stalker Sentry? Oh, this is so weird.
Oh my.
What the hell? And he's going to drop Disruptors with it. So he's going to try and take out the Queens with the Disruptor drop. This is a 3 carrier, 8 Void Ray timing. He's going to warp in tons of Stalker Sentry. What an odd attack. There's lots of roaches there, but you know what? Those disruptors are huge. He doesn't have many spores. There's no corruptors as well.
If the Novas hit, SERRAL's in a ton of trouble here.
Oh no, he's got nowhere to move.
Oh, yoinks on the disruptor though. The Vipers from downtown. Clutch Vipers here from SERRAL. Grabbing those disruptors and taking them out of the mix. Stasis Ward on some of those roaches, keeping them out of the fight, though a few units aren't fighting. Microbial Shroud unironically being used on those Queens to keep them up for a little bit longer there against those Interceptors. The Interceptors are getting thinned out, but the Void Rays still doing their job. Stalkers coming in from that Prism.
The Stalkers are annoying, but the Zerglings, there's enough Zerglings. He's got so many Lings coming. I think the Queens have managed to hold. The Interceptor count's gone. The Void Rays are falling. SERRAL. He defends this super surprising attack. Trap made it look so much like a standard late game. He denied all the Overseers. SERRAL, it looked like he was caught flat-footed. Honestly, if those 2 Disruptors went off, I'm pretty sure SERRAL gets broken there. But the way that happened, it was like a fraction of a second, and then the Abduct goes off, cancels both of them, and you're like, oh my lord, saved by the bell, mate.
I can't. I glanced at Twitch chat at exactly the wrong time because I'm trying to focus on the cast, and I saw Reyna say, "Attack failed. Let's go late game, boys." So I don't want to be that guy and just be like, look, even though there's a huge lead here for SERRAL, yes, this is going to slow way down. We're going to be here for another 40 minutes. But I also kind of agree. It doesn't mean that Trap's dead, and SERRAL is like he's hesitant to use this supply advantage to throw it away at a counterattack because he could lose everything. So
I hear you. I hear Raynor. But you know what? You're wrong. You're so wrong. SERRAL will cover this map. It will take him 7 more minutes, but he will finish this before the 20-minute mark. Like, I guarantee you that he's going to keep spreading creep.
We'll do over-under.
Forward. He's going to smash with Broodlord and Festa Viper. Dude, he's going to destroy. This is such a lead. Trap's like, I've got some Stalkers now and 2 Disruptors and a War Prism. It's not a great set of units. Like, if Trap comes back from here, he's going to have to do some real wizard shit, mate.
Well, I mean, he could not move out. That would do it, I think.
That's not no, he needs to not that's the start, but then the micro on the fights with the worst army. That's the wizard shit, Maynard. Don't be hating.
All right, yeah. Oh no, I'm not hating. I'm not hating, man. I'm just dropping predictions, dude. I'm just asking questions, Pig.
Well, I'm censoring you. You're getting too real, okay?
You can't censor me. I'm just asking questions, Pig.
The creep tubers aren't moving as fast as I like, Maynard. My 7-minute prediction, I'm like, he's just keep putting them tumors forward. Come on, SERRAL, through the middle, through the right. No tumors on the right side, really, right now. Like, he's going to the far bottom right corner, but not forward through the middle. And that's always a bit hard, because the way SERRAL finishes this is he's got to get the creep out front of trap space, move the spores up, and once he's got a bit of a creep kind of little donger sticking out in front of the Protoss base, put some spores on the tip, and that's when he can start just beating him back with Broodlords.
Yeah. But again, like the trick here for Trap is that he's got these 5 base infrastructure, which is more than enough income to sit back, max, get all the upgrades, and get that scary army that's extremely hard to break, especially on your side of the map when you're on top of those shield batteries, when you're on top of those cannons, and you fight on your terms. It does mean you give the Zerg the map, though, which means that SERRAL's, usually pretty amazing creep spread will just get even better. And then the Zerg starts to take their whole side, and then they get a base or 2 up.
Roachbane moving in on the left side. Disruptors coming on forward. They do scare the army back. A wise choice to withdraw from that situation for SERRAL. His creep is going forward a little bit, and he's getting up there. He's still got 7 minutes, 8 minutes. It's okay. He can do it, Maynard, I guarantee you. Ultras on the way as well. I think when you're a little ahead, Ultras are amazing for smashing these bases because there's not as much static, and you can also just roll over the High Templar. Not to mention, it's actually this kind of low ground third before the main for Trap. That's one of the more vulnerable bases. There's no static there other than 2 batteries.
Yeah. That's right. So that's an easier nut to crack here for SERRAL for sure. Sees the Stargate's upgrades getting researched there and has a good look at the main base. Even sees the mothership. A good bit of information there on that Overseer. As there's a little Void Ray contingent here for Trap. This is the harassment force, the harassment fleet for Trap. Erdling actually should get a count off. I think you got enough vision to see that Void Ray flew pretty much directly over it.
I always like that, the little pervy Zerglings just hiding in the ground, blocking bases, and also being annoying. But the Observer does clear the one up on the right. We've got lots of upgrades on the way for SERRAL. His Greatest Spire nestled in his natural this time around. We've seen that die many times in this game so far, in this series I should say, but Trap's been able to max Maynard, and looks like this game will be going for a little bit longer. Oh, look at that Infestor on the right side. Oh, ouchies.
Whip, swing and a miss. Good catch there from Trap. Nice well-timed blink there. And yeah, this Roach contingent not getting a whole lot done. I mean, obviously SERRAL doesn't really give a shit if he loses these Roaches. That's not the biggest of deals. He's going to throw that supply away anyway. He is making a lot more Lings, though, so it does seem like he wants to make maybe a lot more Banes to try and bust through a base a little bit more of a convincing run by than a handful of Roaches at the 14-minute mark.
A few Stalkers and Zealots getting taken down there. Not too bad for either side. An Immortal coming in. Okay, so Trap, I think, willing to maybe respect the Ultras that might come out a little bit. I feel like he's built 1 Immortal every game, actually. They never join his army. He just sends an Immortal off to, like, the side to help defend the Ultraling Bane run by. So building 2 this time around, maybe a bit of a change-up.
Melee units getting stuff done here for SERRAL. He's got those 2 upgrades on them as well, so they're quite high DPS. And I think that Nexus might be in a spot of bother. Oh, no, never mind. The forces have been thinned out. Stalker's getting in position. Top left, a bold attempt there. That's a base that wanted to believe that it would ever exist. A Trap rotates up to the north side, finds it, instantly deletes it by right-clicking on it. Invisible Man Clubhouse. Halfway built here for Trap to get the Invisible Men out, which can also become Archons. I think the Invisible Men, we haven't seen them actually since game 1. That was the one time where Trap tried to do some harassments, but SERRAL was so good at intercepting them at every single turn that they seemed more of a liability than a boon for Trap.
Good recall, defends the base. Trap's got a much bigger bank on the minerals. SERRAL has a huge gas bank, but I think he's built so many spores so early, but he hasn't really got that forward position I talked about. And his mineral count's not so good, so lots of gas. I mean, I do like him getting rid of these roaches, very necessary. And he even gets the no, does not get the disruptor. I thought he'd get one last vom off that roach, but not quite making the connect.
The tactical bomb.
Yeah, usually used by people after a heavy night out, but roaches using it as a weapon against their opponents. Creative thinking as always from the Zerg. Abathur at the helm, a very clever designer.
The tac bomb can be post-drink. It can also be mid-drink. Like when you feel pretty crook, but the guys still want to party. Yeah. The tac bomb can sometimes reset the counter.
It's actually a good choice there for sure, I think sometimes.
Yeah, not how I do it, but I have seen it used well. Speaking of being used well, Disruptors by Trap getting a couple queens there at the edge of those spore crawlers. A very tough position for Trap to push into, though.
Hatchery in the top left does get taken down. Another kill. SERRAL in these series has actually been losing a lot of hatcheries, not cancelling as many of them. He's forgotten his +3 armor as well, which is a bit of a bummer for him. Hopefully he remembers that as the Zerglings come in and...
+3 attack?
Battery overcharge heal, maybe? Oh, not enough. Adrenal Zerglings don't care. They don't care.
Wow, +3 attack denied. That's actually quite nice. A good move there from SERRAL. I mean, if he had a moment to capitalize, like if he wanted to go for an attack now, it would matter. But as it stands, this Cybercore will be remade. +3 is getting remade on another Cybercore, which already got prepared earlier. The Martha Stewart Cybercore prepared earlier here in the main base.
It's always good to have that preparation ready. And you know what? 35 Zerglings, 16 Banes, they definitely can smash bases, but the air army's right there. So is he going to try and abduct some units? Maybe Mama's there.
By the way, we've hit the... It's going to go for 7 more minutes, but not longer than that point in the game. Just letting you know.
I said...
I was counting.
No. The game could be over. Don't jinx it, Maynard. Oh, 2 Infestors get blasted by a Disruptor. 1 Void Ray falls.
That's right.
Yeah. Good recall, though. And you know what? Dude, Trap's got a reasonably healthy bank. SERRAL's bank's starting to get up there now, though. And he's moved some spores forward on this right side. Like I said, if he can get his spores a bit further forward, that would be amazing. His creep on the right side has been really lacking. Zergling's going to enjoy cleaning up these Immortals. Oh, no, they're going to... Interesting. Just teasing him for a little bit.
This is, like... I know that Trap's got, like, a pretty crazy bank, but the Immortals, like, you could use a cheaper unit for what they do there.
Yeah, I think that were the last ones he's building. He's building 4 Tempests. I really love that call. I think the Tempests, if you get 5 of them, so they can one-shot stuff, that's really good. He's going 7. I would argue that's a little too much. But you know what? Mama pushing down the right. Okay, he's looking for the recall switcheroo. But if he does that, he loses 2 bases. Is SERRAL willing to take the trade? Or no, he's not. SERRAL's going to try to get down there, I think. He's moving his Corruptors, at least. His Broodlord's trying to move back. Is this a tactical mistake from SERRAL? I feel like he should take the trade, because I don't think he gets here in time.
Well, the Corruptors and the Vipers get down here in time, but they're not strong enough in force to win the fight, I feel. Ling Bane definitely going to get a little bit more work done this Nexus, but, you know, not a whole lot for them to kill. And yeah, I think you just got to let this hatchery die. It's going to like, okay, made a bit of a positioning mistake, a bit of a tactical error, and I will let you have this hatchery. Just don't throw your air army away. And it ain't all bad.
Nice moves by Trap, limiting the bases there. He's got his +3 air weapons, will be finishing soon. Shadow Stride, Tectonic Destabilizers, that is Tempest damage versus Buildings bonus. And of course, +3 Plasma Shield's going to be coming in a moment. So very nicely done in the upgrade front for Trap. SERRAL did remember +3 armor, so that's coming out. And SERRAL should be able to deny these bases in the top left. He's still building some Zerglings, but not too many. He's got 21 Corruptors, just enough to one-shot a carrier. But still not that super-duper high count. And remember, most of the supply is in air units here. 1 Disruptor, 7 High Templar, 3 Carriers, 10 Void Rays, 7 Tempests. Big army coming forward for Trap.
SERRAL wants their spores burrowed, and he wants to fight at those spores, not anywhere else. He's going to get that Nexus in the meantime. There were some charge lots warped in, but it looks like the Adrenal Lings just ate them up to pieces and also denied top left.
Oh, so that looks like he's gathering for another recall, maybe? Oh, he launches Interceptors on the rocks. Thinking about going in to deny this base one more time, maybe, but no. He's grouping on up.
It's not even being attempted by SERRAL. SERRAL's got this worker lead, but obviously he's being outmined at the moment because a lot of this work is still long distance mining at 6 o'clock. Yeah, there they are. A lot of the High Templar on their hotkey. Just chilling. Okay, there we go.
That's always scary. You're like, oh, what are you doing, boys?
Trap's got a lot of this map, man. This is very similar to that earlier game against SERRAL where, yes, the changeling's wearing pants. It's a lot more Protoss in the field, it seems, than Zerg.
Definitely up 7 army supply right now, and I guess, yeah, it's just kind of funny because those 10 queens, if you get the transfuses down, they're such a game changer. Their renewability of the transfuse, healing all your value units. Slow engagements over time, they're fantastic. Infestors are going to make these Archons just stand there while the Zerglings tear them down. Nice efficient trades here for SERRAL.
Yeah, basically just energy for the 2 Archon kills. Very nice. The whole idea there for Trap was just to make sure that, you know, SERRAL's defending with Ling Bane, and that's the last thing Ling Bane wants to have to deal with is Archons.
Oh, Trap recall there from
Trap.
Top.
Okay, all right.
Interesting.
Expecting an attack from SERRAL.
Yeah, maybe he saw the Corruptive Viper marauding around the map. Does cancel 1 hatch. If you can get the next one, actually. Oh, the Broodlords. Yeah, the Broodlords are too slow. SERRAL can't defend this base. So, yeah, this move, I mean, this sort of move, as long as he doesn't throw units away sloppily, like, it's a very good move. And he could even, like, just clear this mineral line from over the terrain there. Just chip away. Maybe take the watchtower off SERRAL.
Disruptor gets a clip off that queen. Takes a little bit of damage, but not really anything convincing. Has the revelation on these corruptors, so knows that SERRAL is on the edge of the creep and posturing here. Oh, couple free corruptors. Nope, never mind, he's recalling. To the mothership in front of the natural. What?
Whoa! I thought that was a defensive one.
No!
Mama died from the spores. I mean, he clears a lot of spores, and he's keeping SERRAL's income low. Storms clear all the Banelings. Here come the Corruptive Viper. Is he going to get some nice parasitic bombs? Look at the Vipers. All the High Templar are gone. If he can land a big fungal combo, look at those Void Rays getting massacred, Maynard. This is a huge misstep from Trap. The battle of patience. Trap not able to calm down. He needed to waistband it, mate.
Yeah, he's got a tuck it in his socks. Unfortunately, it's just flopping out, man. This is not good at all. Trap has made a complete tactical blunder. And as a result, SERRAL gets an easy cleanup. And Trap's doing the only thing a Protoss can do at this point, and that is make a dozen Void Rays at once from 12 Stargates.
That was crazy. Remember, recall on his Nexus was on cooldown from originally repositioning to the top of the map, guys. Once he recalled there, he could not recall out. He needed to run home. That was a crazy move from Trap, trying to just dive forward. And I mean, it seems to be a pattern in this series. SERRAL, I think, sometimes loses focus and Trap breaks through. But at other moments, Trap gets a lead, and then he kind of just like he loses patience and he just goes for it, and not in a good way. Yeah. Not in a good way at all.
Pig, I'd like to remind you of that one time when Trap was down 100 supply, but remaxed really quickly because he had so many Stargates and made a bunch of Stalkers, and then ended up winning the game about 30 minutes later. So let's not just say that SERRAL's won the game because of that crazy recall from Trap, because that would be honestly a little. It would be dishonest to say that. SERRAL's definitely won at this point.
It's not over. It's not over. I'm with you there, my friend. A dozen Void Rays, a dozen Stalkers. But he's going back to Tempest.
Void Rays. Specifically, that's a lot of Void Rays. It's a lot.
What would you call that number of Void Rays, Maynard?
A dozen, I think.
No. I mean, you know, there's a murder of crows, right? An unkindness of ravens, I believe.
Oh, I've done this. Yeah, I've done this in my Doom Eternal streams. Where like what is a cluster of this demon? Like, what do we call that? I call that a fuck you of Void Rays.
A fuck you of Void Rays. Yeah. And if they have the fuck veins upgrades, it becomes a fuck you of Void Rays.
Yeah, it's like a capital. You just capitalize it. It's the same thing, but just louder, more direct, more pronounced.
Corruptors and Vipers and Broodlords on the south still marauding. Both players try to look for that fight, and I think at this point, SERRAL's like, well, that last fight was kind of crazy from him. Maybe if I just play super patiently, he's going to get overeager and kind of mess up. Uh-oh, Queen's in the open. They got baited.
Yeah. Sorry, ladies. Wrong part of town. Oh, north side, 12 o'clock under attack here. Looks like SERRAL's putting some pain on to the trap side of the map, but see, Stalker's in between these little positions with shield battery support. Actually not too bad against dealing with ultras. Part of the reason why Trap's getting them here, obviously, you know, dealing with broodlords and corruptors and whatnot, but they're not too bad against ultras, as long as the ultras don't have a ton of links with them.
They're terrible when you're not looking at them, but when you're looking at them and doing the micros, they're really good. You see, the moment they're not being micro, though,
yeah, see. Not the greatest.
Okay, I'm waiting for a big fungal to catch this army. The broodlords want those high Templar so bad. So basically, here's the big thing, right? If Trap is able to engage without massive fungal parasitic bomb combos going off, he wrecks SERRAL. And if SERRAL can engage without the high Templar landing massive storms and feedbacks, he wrecks Trap. That's the pattern, right? It's all about, hey, if I catch your high Templar with a fungal, awesome. Hey, if I get a disruptor or my carriers focus down your infestors, awesome, let's go for it. But if that doesn't happen, the both players are just dancing, they're chipping away, they're looking for it, and ooh, a fungal got in, but I'm really loving the Tempest focus fire. It feels like it's been fantastic. Units lost tab is in the favor of SERRAL. Does feel like Trap's mined a bit more of the map, but SERRAL is now getting this base up. He has denied a bit of the mining up there. No gas, but just a tiny bit of the minerals left on that top base.
Yeah, taking that base that we just saw on camera just now is really good for SERRAL. That's going to be a lot of fresh mining. Not that one. Yeah, that one. I thought you were going to make me look like a dickhead just now. It's like, yeah, nice call, Maynard. Yeah, 12 o'clock's loaded.
Yeah.
Oh,
13 minerals seems worth, Maynard, yeah.
Yeah, 13 minerals, Maynard. Like, he can almost afford a single drone. That's huge.
Well, the carriers are going to come forward on the south. Sorry, there's one carrier, which I actually kind of like, because it just kind of disrupts the AI of the opponent. Oh, fungal on the high Templar!
Yeah,
but the broodlords are nowhere near. He's going to chain it, though. Oh.
Yep, chained. That's pretty big.
More fungals coming in. Okay, gets an abduct. He's going to take Mum as she gets recalled out. No.
The mothership, ladies and gentlemen. Down she goes.
That is.
And SERRAL maintains the control of the 6 o'clock location.
Good job in the top, though, to deny this base. Trap with the Void Rays being ever active, ever annoying. Using their mobility. And down in the bottom, going to poke in one more time. This is really hard for SERRAL to mine off these bases. Very nicely done by Trap to be just a nuisance all game long. His high Templar don't actually have Storm here on the bottom just yet. But those Tempests, very good units. Goodbye, Infester.
Yeah. The Revelation's certainly very, very useful here. And Hatchery's going to right-click and goodbye. Nicely done.
And I think SERRAL is playing so intensely. There is so much APM coming out of the Finn that his woodland internet may in fact be clogging his connection. He's getting more and more pixelated. He's getting literally profane to the point where we have to censor him, I believe, there in the camera feed. Immortal's going to go down. You mentioned those Immortals, maybe not the most efficient unit, very expensive. And once again, they do not pay their price as the fungal abduct combo lands at the same time.
Massive. Gets a good bit of damage there for sure. Good shaving into Trap's units. Of course, Trap has the money. And he has the production to be able to remax again pretty quickly here. Both players in the sub 50 work account now. It's all about the army supply. Their banks are as tanky as possible. And they almost have the exact same supply in workers and in army. Almost exactly the same.
Is it fair to say at this point, Maynard, that whoever wins this game and closes this series is the best ZvP late game player in the world?
Personally, I think that whoever wins this series is the champion. And we shouldn't do the other series.
Oh, get some great pickoffs there, but in the top at the same time, the Void Rays say, you're never allowed to mine off this base. Those two Corruptors come in with brave ideas and quickly turn around, saying, no, not versus that many Void Rays.
Yeah, the Void Rays getting a really good pick off there on that hatchery. And that's the power of the Void, especially with the, what'd you call it, the fuck veins?
Yep.
They get the fuck veins, and I love that, by the way. That's excellent. They really can't be punished unless they get caught by fungal. You cannot stop the Void Rays continuing to do what they are doing. Broodlings nibbling on those high Templar, but they still are pretty healthy and lots of energy as well. Plenty of spells for feedbacks. SERRAL's got to pick this next fight very carefully. And that's tough when you get Revelation on your army all the time. This army isn't revealed, though. Oh, I thought he'd get something a little bit more tasty than that. But hey, Tempest is Tempest. This is just energy for damage. Good stuff.
Yeah, the units lost tab. The last 5 minutes of this game has been all SERRAL in that efficiency. Traps seems to be better at chewing up more of the map than him. But whenever he's just they're standing on the edge like this in this sort of standoff position, it feels like SERRAL just trades a lot better. And he's just chipping at him over and over. Whereas where Trap seems to succeed is after a series of these mobile attacks, doing a surprise just thrust through the middle. And if you can catch those Broodlords unsupported even one time, you seem to kill him. But the adjustment for SERRAL this series, or this last game, I should say, is the Infestor count. His Infestor count's way higher, and it feels like he's never caught without the fungal. So even if you like start breaking his spores, he'll just run the broods and he'll fungal you, and you can't really chase him down. So very nicely done to kind of make this adjustment, this adaptation. Still picking off spore crawlers here. Tempest just one-shotting spores. Oh, Corruptors find the rally! Warp Prism and a carrier going down. Nice.
Yeah, that's very, very good pickups there for SERRAL. Good trades for sure. Oop.
Oh!
Viper's kind of YOLOing into this army. Not the greatest.
It's that European socialism, Maynard. He's like, oh, I took some, but I gotta give some back now.
That's right. It's all fair. And the Void Ray is doing what they do best. Show up, picking up a base. One of them dies to Spore Crawler, but it doesn't matter. The rest of them survive.
Oh, it's an offensive recall, Maynard. It's that move. He gets some feedbacks. He got some big feedbacks, but there's more Infestors behind it. I don't think he's going to be able to chase him down this time. SERRAL, in fact, looking to chase him down. Very ambitious move from SERRAL. He says, Mama ain't leaving here alive.
Yeah, I don't think so. Well, she's pulling back, though. She's staying alive. She's uncloaked her babies, but her babies are doing all right. They're making Mama proud.
There's still
Crap,
big storm in there.
hurt.
There is still 2 storms available. If he can land those on the Corruptors, this is still very scary for SERRAL. He's going to go for the engage. There's not many Void Rays left. Mama will go down. The Corruptors thinking about pulling back. The Queens are there. The Corruptors need to choose if they're going to fight this or not, and they are going to commit. And it looks like SERRAL is going to get a very good engagement, cleaning up a lot of these air units.
Oh, the higher interceptor carrier there at the north side would be just such a lovely target for these Corruptors, but he is still killing a lot of these expensive units for Trap. SERRAL's Queens coming in, they're transfusing their babies. The Corruptors don't have Void Rays to worry about anymore, which means they can actually kill things. The Tempests are going down, the carriers are going down. In comes a Void Ray from the north side. Trap is making a lot at once right now. The Broodlords go a little bit too far forward there, but the Queens once again transfusing their children, bringing them back up to healthy fighting force. Now the Corruptors feeling confident. Yeah, I don't know, man.
No,
the overcharged shield battery.
Yeah. This cannot be, was it Berlingrad all over again? You know, no, none of this taking turns overstepping. SERRAL just took a pretty great fight at the start, but there was, I don't know, it kind of went both ways. Like the units lost time is still pretty similar in terms of the differential, but it just feels like with all that gas in the bank, SERRAL should be fine here. I mean, the Queens have just added so much value by just transfusing through these fights. They're a mineral-only unit, and yet they're saving him so much gas. And I mean, look at it. The gas bank for his Trap is almost gone. This might be his last remax in this game.
Mama's about to pop here. Mama's about to pop down here. She needs her friends to help her out. Because that'll be a free mothership right now for SERRAL if that pops out as is.
Or
engagement at the watchtower.
The Corruptors leave, and then she recalls back down, and they kill the Broodlords. We'll see the Void Rays. Again! They're so annoying! Oh, they're so annoying. They didn't get the hatchery. Mother didn't pop. Mama didn't pop.
Ah, the Nexus died.
Oh!
Fungal! There it is! Can we get the Void Ray kills?
Fungal!
One Void Ray died, Pig. I'm sorry to say. One Void Ray died.
I just wanted this to be our Korean caster moment, Maynard.
Fungal!
Fungal!
I mean, if we want to go full hyperbole, I can do that. I am a hype caster.
I'm just excited, mate. I may be a little delirious, even though we haven't quite finished our first series of the day. It's wild. It's crazy. Both guys are going to remax for like what? The third time? And Trap is denying his bottom base.
I don't even know anymore, man. Fuck it. It's just so much Stargate PvZ. It's a lot. You know, the lines are blurring. I don't know where this. I don't even know when the series began. My wife went out for dinner to a party with her girlfriends at the beginning of the series, and I'm afraid she'll be back before the series ends.
Dude, you'll be like, oh, you're home, honey? You look, she's got grey
like,
hair and shit. She's like, you've been there for 20 years, Lee.
She's like,
what the
I
hell?
got remarried twice. I'm like, oh no. I've just been casting PvZ.
Oh, gonna look for some more picks there. They're gonna go for the tech. Greatest Spire. We knew it would go down at one point in this series. SERRAL says, no, naughty. One feedback on the Vipers. A juicy storm.
Yeah, good juicy storm there. So the High Templar getting in position to zone back those scary Zerg units, letting the Stargate units do their thing here in the natural. SERRAL would love to get into the main, cut the head off the snake, get those high-tech structures. SERRAL kind of already foreseeing that possibility, though, remaking his lair, getting a Spire as well elsewhere.
Time to recall. Time to recall.
Oh, the Fungal misses the High Templar, though. The Corrupt is coming on the right side of the pack, picking off those straggling Void Rays. But again, like a disengagement seems sensible here for SERRAL to pull back to the north side.
The Vipers and Infestors are being babysat by SERRAL so well. He's still got to be careful, though. Feedbacks!
Oh, the Ultra Ling! They dive! Do they get him? Does he get the High Templar?
One High Templar will survive on red hit points. That means there's one Storm that could still be very deadly, but the Fungal Parasitic combo, oof.
Trap's got to go, man. He can't continue to bankroll these Stargate units anymore. That Parasitic Bomb was insane. Opened up so many of those Voids. They're so deep in the red. They're dropping like flies here. Those Void Rays are so softened that everything is killing them. Anything that shoots up is picking them down. Brood Lords finish off that last High Templar. Can the Corruptors do the rest here? I think they might be able to. SERRAL dives. The desperation recall from Trap. He's going to have nothing left after that recall. Man, SERRAL, big lead now, and Trap does not have Gas Pig. He can print charge lots, sure, but he can't make anything that's going to beat 7 Ultralisks and like 20 whatever Corruptors are left.
Drone's just pulling back for now. The Infestor's going to pull back. SERRAL's happy to give up these bases for now. He's got Broods. He's got Corruptors. He's got Ultra Ling to deal with the mobile units. There's 3 Tempests and 2 Carriers running around like they're lost. They've got Dementia at this point. They've been in so many battles, dude. I think SERRAL, yeah. How long has this series been? I think we might have crossed the 4-hour mark. It's been 3.5 hours, apparently.
3.5 hour series. So were we live for just an hour talking? Time flies when you're having fun.
I think that's not counting the downtime between the games and
true.
Whatnot. So yeah, I mean we did have SERRAL arrive slightly late today, but dude, what an ordeal, the back and forth. Do you know how stressful it is? Like the people are like, oh, I don't like watching. Let's just appreciate for a moment how much focus and mental energy there is, because you look away for a moment, bam, your spellcasters get feedback, right? Storm lands in those Corruptors, bam, they're going. We saw what happened. One Fungal lands on the High Templar, a round of Broodlings hits, every High Templar's gone, and your army's just getting just absolutely mauled. So the focus for such an extended period of time against such a high-tier opponent, I mean, you can see the games have gone this long because they are sparring and they cannot kill each other. It is so damned impressive to watch, and at the end of the day, so far, it does look like, unless 33 Zealots climb on each other's shoulders and can hit up, SERRAL is going to prove to be the slightly superior late game player.
Yeah, seems like it. I mean, Trap gave us a heck of a series, but I just don't see how he defeats SERRAL now. I don't see his win condition. He can't really base race. I mean, maybe with 50 Zealots he can, but if SERRAL decides to dedicate any defenses, those Zealots aren't going to do a whole lot. And yeah, man, a huge series, hours long, but it does seem like it's 99% possibility here that SERRAL's just going to take it.
Brood Lord's just starting to clear that base out. The Zealots hanging out in the bottom. Time to go for that base trade strategy again, Trap. I don't know, man.
Yeah, might as well send him in. I mean, they're sitting at home. They're not doing him any favors. But
just
I
Ultras
guess
ruin him so hard, right?
Yeah, the Ultras just, that's the thing. Like, I was just saying, like, yes, he's making a lot of Zealots. Yes, he's got minerals. But how does he beat, like, the 9 Ultras that are out in the field? Or like, actually, I'm going to check I'm in the game. I can check the units tab. 7 Ultras, even then. So that's too many Ultras for those Zealots to deal with.
Trap, he's hiding his army in the top right. The Carriers and the Tempest right now. This is the point where we see him embrace his inner fire cake, I think, and stand up and walk away from the PC. Because he's not really building anything.
Go to barbecue. Like, let SERRAL kill him.
I think he's hoping SERRAL's army is smaller than we can see, of course. He doesn't see that. And he's got all these Zealots kind of hidden. So I think maybe he's hoping SERRAL overcommits a little bit. And then if he cleans up the ground army and SERRAL's out of money, he like wins the base trade because there's so many Zealots, right? So he wants the Ling Ultra to get wasted on cannons, and then all the Zealots come out as a big surprise. And yeah, he's planning the base trade. Tempest Carrier on the top. So he's going to like pick off a building, kill some drones, recall kind of thing. And he's going to keep doing that until SERRAL pushes him. And when SERRAL pushes him, he's going to go. Now, any other player would go, but SERRAL's so patient. He sets up his little pervy Zerglings burrowed underground. He just waits and waits and waits. And he's like, no. I know the pressure is on you. I'm slowly mining that base out. I've remaxed. I'll take a Tempest. I'll take another one. Oof.
Yep.
That,
and every unit that dies becomes less and less likely that Trap gets anything done here. It's time for the Walk of the Zealots. Good luck, boys. Good luck.
Doesn't have a mama, so he can't recall. He just used his recall. Zealots will do well versus the Zerglings, but when the Ultras come, that's when they know their life is over.
Come get a hug. Yeah, look at those Zealots. Yeah, there it is. And the Ultra is being shown there. Caused the tap out from Trap, and SERRAL gets the victory after almost 4 hours of StarCraft gameplay in total. It's just absolutely insane. And yeah, commiserations to Trap. He's getting knocked out here in the semis. Does mean that SERRAL is going to be our first finalist. We'll be up against the winner of Reina versus Max Pax, which is our next best of 7. Great idea making best of 7s in the semis, Pig.